Say no more, say no more, say no more. Listen, tonight you see the thumbnail. We're going over the 4-2-5 D lineman. We understand that's the biggest talk for 2026 is how well our D line is going to hold up in this 11 games Power 4 schedule. You already know. That's the biggest question. Is we giving out belt or is we getting belt? It ain't no in between. You rocking with Say No More Media. Appreciate y'all tapping in. How was everybody's weekend? What'd y'all do? What's the word? Hope everybody was safe. Appreciate y'all being back in here. You already know I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. I'm gonna get straight to it. As well on the show, we're gonna do a live reaction a little bit later on. We'll start with that. We're gonna do a live reaction to Chris Marve right now, and when he was at Virginia Tech with On3. When they talked about some of his defensive line and what he was able to do while at Virginia Tech, you already know I got something cooking up every episode, bro. I mean, this is what we do, right? How's everybody doing, though? First of all, what's good with everybody? What's good with everybody? Listen, if you're trying to tap in, I'll drop the link to StreamYard. I want to get like 4 or 5 people on here at a time now so we can just start bouncing. Pause. We can just start going back and forth and tapping in. You know what I'm saying? Really getting each other's perspective. So, yes, sir. Appreciate y'all being in here. You already know we're going to do a live reaction to Inside Virginia Tech's defensive room. An interview with Chris Marve here. So I ain't going to hold you much longer. I'm going to get straight to it. Appreciate y'all tapping in. I'm going to be pausing and reacting. So, Inside Virginia Tech's defensive room, Virginia Tech at Vanderbilt preview. Salute to Chris Marve. Go like, comment, and subscribe. What channel is this? This is On3. Yeah, go tap in with On3. They always be dropping, all the transfer portal news, all the latest news. We on one. All right, appreciate y'all being in here. Salute to everybody. Immediately following this, I'm going to get into what the thumbnail is about. I'm going to talk about the D lineman, the philosophy, and what Coach Chris Marve is trying to do in 2026. Appreciate y'all being in here. If you can hit the thumbs up. Also, if you want to join the channel memberships, it's available. If you just want to support the channel, you like what you see, you like the thumbnails, you like how we interact, call in, you can join the channel and support. If not, just y'all being here. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Say no more.
Learn how to put the quarterback on the ground. You finished second in the ACC in sacks last year. And I heard you talking about this, and I'm fascinated by this. You said, hey, we got there in 2022, but we couldn't finish those sacks. Like, how do you teach somebody to finish a sack?
Yeah, really good question. First of all, man, thank you guys for having me on. I really
no problem.
Appreciate what you do and what you stand for, and I appreciate you noticing, the work and the guys really seeing the fruits of their labor from a year ago. The way you get better at football is by playing football, right? Mm-hmm. And so we drilled it incessantly, how to get to the quarterback, how to finish at the quarterback, and really not allow the moment to get too big for you. Just trusting your training, finishing where you need to finish, and knowing the personality of the quarterback that you're going against, right? Does he like to spin on the back shoulder?
Hey, so you can see already Chris Marve has a very good attention to detail. Just listening to him from this interview, a lot of film study. That's what that tells me. We're going to be spending a lot of weekends, a lot of Friday nights in the film room. The whole defense, the whole 11, backups included. You know what I mean? So he's already talking about what shoulder the quarter, all that. I mean, that's why we went out and got somebody like Chris Marve, Coach Chris Marve, for the 2026 season. So if you just tapping in here right now, we're doing a live reaction on On3. Chris Marve interview when they were praising him for his D line being able to get after the quarterback. Say no more.
Is he a step up guy? When he scrambles, does he look to run or does he look to throw the football? All those things are imperative, knowing your opponent going in, so that you have a really good plan of attack, and so you can react well.
So I was watching a lot of the plays from last season, and a lot of those sacks were a result of some interior pressure. Now,
yeah,
you've had to replace a lot of the interior, and you've done a lot of that through the transfer portal. How difficult is
a lot of those sacks was from interior pressure, and he lost guys to the portal, which shows he can rebuild through the portal too. So lost guys in the portal, but a lot of the sacks came from interior pressure. One thing I want to hear, because 2025 interior pressure was not a word that I would particularly define our defensive line. I ain't gonna hold you. I mean, I'm just keep it real. But hearing something with interior pressure coming from Coach Chris Marve, the defensive coordinator in 2026, I like to hear that. Say no more.
That when you're, trying to blend guys, because your edge guys are guys that you're bringing back, your interior guys, you got a lot of transfers. How long does it take to get that chemistry right and figure out what the best combinations are?
The biggest thing, for us defensively, from a program standpoint, from a philosophy standpoint, it's about getting guys who want to play extremely hard, right? Within a system, within the structure of the defense, but playing like their hair is on fire. We're going to play a fair amount of guys up front because we want guys to have the opportunity to play fresh, put good stuff on tape, but ultimately who can get it done. And so that's what you can see with us. We got guys who are just going to go and play really hard and put their best stuff on tape, because we talk about, if this is something that you want to do, how much are you willing to sacrifice for your brother next to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that, equates to effort and what that looks like on tape. It shouldn't be a question about how hard you're playing. If you're changing speed, you need to show up in the end zone copy, and that's the bottom line.
I think we're seeing the same thing. Hold on. Let me drop a bomb on that real quick, because I feel like we're seeing the same philosophy and the same verbiage from Brendan Marion, the offensive coordinator, Coach Brendan Marion, the offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator Chris Marve. How much are you willing to sacrifice for your teammate? Is it about you this year, or is it about the team? And I feel like that's very important, because right now it's about wins, and it's about winning the Big 12, and it's about dominating and getting back to being what Colorado stands for, and that's putting belt. And to do that, it has to be selfless football. It has to be the team. Hey, with the wins, what you do for the man next to you offensively. Remember, no block, no rock. Wide receivers on the outside. Backside blocking. That's why I like what I'm seeing from Hakeem Williams already. He got into it with Cree on the back end because he was out there blocking. The play ain't even ran to the short side boundary of the field. He over there blocking Cree like the ball's coming his way. That's what we need. Yeah. Ball's not even coming my way. Plays to the opposite side of the field. I'm still stock blocking like the plays coming my way. What are you willing to do for your brother? What are you willing to do for your teammate in order for us to get the win? So Chris Marve is bringing the same philosophy defensively. What are you willing to sacrifice? You already know. You got to be locked in on the tape. And that's why I think those are the guys you're going to see get on the field this year. Appreciate y'all tapping in. If you can hit a thumbs up, we're doing a live reaction to On 3. They did an interview with Chris Marve when he explained the defensive linemen. He got a lot of interior pressure there. So I'm trying to trying to pick his brain and see, what went into that successful season, because I'm looking for him to duplicate that type of season in 2026. So I'm looking forward to my team putting belt in 2026. And it all starts up front, offensively and defensively. You already know there's some big boys, in the Big 12 and the Power 4 teams that we're playing with. They got some of them overall. Hey, they plowing, they moving furniture, bro. Y'all heard the term moving furniture? There's some offensive linemen we playing against. We're gonna talk about some offensive linemen that we're going against this year too. Probably maybe this week in a couple of days. But I'm already looking into that. We're going against some dogs that move furniture. They steering you. They steering the bus. Yeah, so D-line, come on with it. Say no more.
And so we do a lot as it relates to showing that, reiterating that concept and that mentality. And we hold the guys to that standard. It is what it is.
So when you guys started it, because last season, as the season went on, it felt like everything started to come together for you guys. And by the end of the season, it felt very different than it felt in the beginning. Could you guys feel that happening, as a coaching staff, as a team, as that was going on, as everything was starting to click together?
As a coach, you really try not to zoom out, right, and look at the macro. Yep. You need to be extremely myopic, and the things that equate to success and equate to winning, right? As being detailed, that's holding each other accountable, staff and coaches. That's being intentional about what does work. Well, how can you get the guys to play as fast as possible, consistently? And what you want to do is make sure that the progress that you gain it continues, and it's sustainable, and that you understand to be successful, that progress is going to be incremental. Like, it's not going to happen overnight particularly when you have 11 young men out at a time playing the guys that we play and expect it to happen that quickly.
Oh, it had a little Georgia. Oh, that's 2024. That's Georgia Tech. But all right, let me play a little bit more.
So over the course of time, the guys were able to just continue to improve, and we kept challenging as coaches, challenging ourselves, challenging them, and it just got better as the year went on.
Well, and the other.
That's the hold on, let me drop a bomb for Coach Chris Marve as well, right? Challenging each other as coaches, holding each other accountable, keeping it real with each other, constructive criticism. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Like when you see that coaches meeting room, you got coaches in there who are not this coaching staff doesn't look like they're afraid to challenge one another. Hey, coach, I wouldn't run that. I don't know. How do you see it that way? I don't know. If I was you, I would run, if you ran that, I'll run backside counter. I would pull, philosophies are meant to be, if you want the best philosophy, it's meant to be challenge, push. Can coaches take constructive criticism as well? So I like the way he says, we're going to challenge the players and we're going to challenge the coaches. And we've seen that already, right? In the short amount of time we've seen Coach Chris Marve on the practice field in Boulder, we've seen already he's challenging the energy from the players. He said, ain't nothing soft. Y'all remember that? He said, his eyes was like this. He said, ain't nothing soft about what we do. Nothing. Because that's how he played. You don't want the identity of your team. He played linebacker and he was putting belt. I ain't gonna hold you. I looked him up when Chris Marve was at linebacker, belt. So when you get to the huddle and you say ain't nothing soft about what we do, he letting y'all know y'all represent me and ain't nothing soft. You feel me? Ain't nothing soft what we doing out here. So that accountability on being physical already up front, and if he had his eyes on this defensive lineman, which I'm assuming he did because they talked about the portal for Virginia Tech, and then he talked about the guys he brought in for his defensive line. But I'm just saying, holding each other accountable, holding the players accountable, and coaches holding each other accountable, that's what equals success, bro. Like, that's what Kirk Cignetti does. I mean, come on now. Kirk Cignetti's meeting rooms with his coaches is man-to-man, talk-to-talk, philosophy on philosophy. So I love what Chris Marve is dropping right here. Let me drop for Coach Chris Marve. Coach Chris Marve. Appreciate y'all being in here. If you can hit the thumbs up, we're doing a live reaction to On 3, a Chris Marve interview when he dove deep into his philosophy, what went into the successful season with a D-line put belt, and had a lot of takeaways, sacks, pressures on the quarterback. So, all right, appreciate y'all tapping in. You know what it is. Say no more.
The thing is, this defense did grow up. I mean, you've got a bunch of guys who 2 years ago were playing as freshmen and redshirt freshmen. Like your cornerman, Stuart Delane, this is a guy who had to play a bunch as a freshman, and now here he goes into his junior year, and you're seeing him, in the first round of mock drafts for next year. How big is it? Just some of these guys had to learn by playing.
You get better at football by playing football. I really believe that. I mean, this is a grown man sport. It's a lot of speed and mass moving at the same time. I mean, you get better by playing it. And so, throughout the course of the first season we were here and the course of the last season that we had, you did watch a lot of maturation show. You saw development happen on the field, both in positive ways and negative ways, right? Nobody played perfect. You learned from mistakes and you grew with things that you did well, us as coaches as well. And so, man, you're going to continue to see that. Football is an imperfect game played by imperfect people. Mm-hmm. But the standards that we set and how we hold each other accountable and how we decide to play and coach on a daily basis, that's going to be indicative of the level of success that we can have.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. I ain't even going to hold you. All right. We're going to get back to that. I'm going to let that play in the background real quick. I'm going to come over here real quick. Hold on. Say no more. Hold on. How everybody doing tonight, though? I see it's Liddy in the chat already. Appreciate the fam being in here for sure. Let me get through here real quick. Boom. All right, well, I'll leave that here real quick. All right, so I think this is a perfect part to start based on what he said, holding each other accountable, right? So what exactly is Chris Marve matters most on defense, right? Please tell me this is on the screen. I was about to say, I thought I was talking to myself again. Say no. All right, bet. All right, so new Colorado defensive coordinator Chris Marve explained what winning defense needs before you even get into the X's and O's, right? Winning defense starts with mindset, being situationally very efficient to exceptional, understanding third down and zone and personnel and playing fast, aggressive with tremendous effort as a unit. You see that everybody to the ball, everybody, they don't let nobody loaf. Like, his staff is on point. Like, you see the staff running, you see they got who's hanging around the backside. They want all 11 hats to the ball. And I understand that's not hard to do in practice. Listen, you're only here for an hour and a half. If the ball's down the field, the D lineman needs to be moving down the field. You never know what happens. There might be a fumble. So it might be anything that happens on the field. So what I've seen so far, the staff is definitely holding the players accountable. If you backside defensive end plays away from you, they want you pursuing to the ball. We all have the pursuit drill, right? First guy, second guy, third guy, all the way ends with the backside corner. If it ever has to pursue, we all have done the pursuit drill before, right? I'm assuming you've done a pursuit drill, 11 to the ball, pursuit the angles, to stop the touchdowns, the cutbacks. All right, cool. Pursuit drill, very important, right? Spring ball is about establishing an identity. You can fix problems with effort, mindset, and style of play. So, Chris Marve, if you already seen with them eyes, he already wants to know a few things. Do you play hard? Do you play fast? Do you understand the situation? Can you do your job as part of the whole unit? He stressed mindset, situation, and unit play before specific assignments, right? All right, I'm going to just tap in with that for a little bit. We're going to get back to that. I just want to briefly give the family a snippet of, we finna get into the defensive tackles, the nose tackles, the D ends, the field D end, all that. So if you guys are here for some football talk tonight, y'all in the right place. Appreciate y'all tapping in. You rocking with Say No More Media. I appreciate everybody being in here. Say no more,
guys.
He absolutely is, right? And he's somebody that we push. I mean, he loves the game. He loves rushing the quarterback. And, he came back this year and we challenged him in certain areas and he's worked his behind off to grow in those areas. And so, we're asking him to lead by his influence and by his play, how he approaches each day consistently. And we've been asking him to do it and he's done it.
He looked like bro from that movie Nope. Y'all seen the movie Nope? The actor that played in Black Panther?
Consistently. And we've been asking him to do it and he's done it. We're asking him to lead.
He looks like bro that played in the movie Nope. Y'all know what I'm talking about? In the Jordan Peele movie, and then he played in Black Panther. The one dude, damn, he played in Get Out. He looks like bro from Get Out. Say no more.
By his influence and by his play, how he approaches each day consistently. We've been asking him to do it, and he's done it. And so we're excited to continue to push him and work.
So you guys open this week at Vanderbilt, and it's an interesting situation because they're bringing in a new quarterback in Diego Pavia. He was the New Mexico State quarterback last year. The viewers know who that is because we talked about him a bunch last year at New Mexico State. But for you, when you're watching a quarterback who you saw play for another team,
I mean, we heard of Daniel Pavia this year, right? I mean, yeah, Daniel Pavia, yeah. So he's lined up against some elite quarterbacks already too. So in the Big 12, whoo-wee, Brandon Sorsby. Lord Jesus, I ain't gonna hold you. Brandon Sorsby is elite. Let me tell you something. Hold on. I ain't gonna lie to you. Brandon Sorsby is like that, bruh. We gonna have to dial it up because that he done seen a lot. Sorsby done seen a lot. DJ Lagway. We got bro who came over from North Texas. We got some quarterbacks. Of course, the returner from we got some quarterbacks. That's all I'm saying. So we're gonna have to be able to mix it up, give these guys some disguised looks, and most importantly, get to the quarterback up front, right? But he played Danny Previous. So Coach Chris Marve has seen some quarterbacks. He's dialed it up. Say no more. Appreciate y'all being in here. If you get the thumbs up, we're doing a live reaction to On 3. Chris Marve interview. Appreciate y'all being here. I hope everything cool with y'all tonight. And y'all in here kicking it and chilling. Say no more.
Last year, going and joining a new team where you've got film of those players, but not necessarily that offense, that quarterback. How hard is it to prepare for something like that?
Yeah, first games are always challenging. I mean, I think there's some overlap between a first game and a bowl game, particularly one that's later in the bowl season, because there is a level of newness and novelty that you just have to plan for. And so when you look at a young man and the quarterbacks that they have on their roster, I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. You look at production, you look at ability, You talk about young men who know how to play football with grit, leadership. It jumps off the tape again. So we know we have a challenge in front of us, and we're excited.
So I have a question. I always wondered this about Virginia Tech, and you've now.
All right, that's a good way. Appreciate everybody being in here. Sorsby about to find out real quick. Legway, Sorsby. All right, nah, for sure. I just got to give credit where credit's due. He's a very, very mobile. He makes plays. I'm looking forward to Marv dialing it up and us putting belt on him, but I got to give credit where credit's due. We're gonna face some pretty decent quarterbacks. Gotta give credit where credit's due, bro. I ain't gonna come on here and say all the quarterbacks we're facing are scrubs this year and we're gonna dominate them. Then we got some good quarterbacks and we're facing some good offensive coordinators this year as well. So I think that was important with what Coach Chris Marve said about that first game. You never know. You got a whole year to dial it up. Who says you have to come out with what you scouted? Who says the teams have to come out with what we studied? We could come out with in the wishbone. We could come out in the wishbone against Georgia Tech. That's the facts. We could come out. Georgia Tech could come out 5 wide spread and dial it up. That's the beauty about that first game, right? I don't think now. You guys correct me if everybody correct me if I'm wrong. There's no I hand you my playbook, you hand me my playbook, and we say, you hand me my playbook, and we say we're gonna run these plays to start the season. So those are the plays you scout. Last time I checked, I think that first game is dial it up, and we're gonna try to mix it up, and we're gonna try to catch you with the element of surprise before, the wishbone, bro. The wishbone, bro. I'm just saying, Coach Chris Marve he's spitting right now because that first game, Brendan Marion has, bro. First game, we can line up 5 wide empty, bruh. Campbell, Gibson, Perry, Scudero, Joseph Williams, DeAndre Moore, and just first drive, screens, bubbles, take one over the top with Campbell. We don't know. We're going to see a mix, right? So that's tough for a defensive coordinator. Be like, all right, we scouted them. We know what they do well. We're preparing. We're trying to take away their strengths, but that's the first game. Georgia Tech can line up in whatever they want to line up. Now we know head coach Brent Key, what he want to do. I don't think we're going to see. I think he's going to try to line that ball up and run it until we stop it. He's going to try to run it until we stop it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 9-5 last season, top 25 team, Georgia Tech. We opening up college football on a Thursday night, right? It's just us and Georgia Tech. We opening up the season this month. Belt. Say no more. All right, so I'm gonna let that marinate a little bit. So what the 4 down linemen do in a 4-2-5, right? So in a 4-2-5, the defensive line is still the front that makes the whole thing work. The basic structure is 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, 5 DBs, right? And the D line is responsible for controlling the line, setting the edges, spilling the runs, and creating pass rush pressure so the nickel structure can stay fast and multiple behind it. You rocking with Say No More Media. If this is your first time being in here, we do a little bit of everything. We might talk football, X's and O's, one live. We might do live reactions, one live. We might just come in here and chop it up, one live. We very well versed, well rounded. We don't try to stay isolated in one lane and just talk about one thing. And I like to cover a variety of channels. I talk about different things. So if you're here for the first time, I appreciate you being in here. Say no more. All right. The most common 4-2-5 fronts are over and under, right? And over, the 3 technique controls the B gap. The 1 technique nose controls the A gap. And the 2 ends are usually in 5 techniques controlling the C gaps. I was just watching some old high school film earlier, and the quarterback ran into my running back, and he got hella mad. He stood up and said, bruh, he was just telling quarterback was tweaking. I don't know what he was on, but pretty simple right there, right? And under, the alignment flips the interior technique relative to the tight end back, but the end still typically owns the C gaps, right? So how you like them graphics, huh? Hey, you rocking with Say No More Media, bro. Hey, who else bringing you them Madden visuals like this, bro? Stop playing, man. Come on now. Say less. So you got the field defensive end. You got the 3 technique. That's way too high. The boundary DN. 4 down linebackers right here. Oh, he way too high right there. That should be over here a little bit more. But you got your 4 D linemen right there. Y'all get the concept. Y'all get what I was trying to say. So you got the field DN. You got the boundary DN. You got the 3 technique defensive tackle and the 1 technique, the nose tackle. So if it's your first time learning about a 4-2-5, it's a 4 down lineman, the field defensive end, the boundary defensive end, the 3 technique defensive tackle, the 1 technique, the nose tackle. You feel me? All right. We're going to get back to this. I'm going to get back over here to the live reaction. I'm going to mix it up a little bit tonight so I don't talk y'all heads off because people be saying I'll be bumping my gums a lot. It is what it is. Appreciate y'all being in here. You rocking with Say No More Media, bro. Say no more.
Yeah, I can't give away house secrets, but what I can tell you is that the guy who's carrying it, he is certainly emblematic of what we stand for and the ideals and values that we teach.
Is there actual snacks in there?
Can't give away house secrets.
All right. I had to ask. All right. So you're a guy who played at Vanderbilt. You played in a bunch of cool SEC stadiums. You worked at Florida State. You worked, at different schools across the country.
Sure.
But what's it like when you get you get to Virginia Tech and you're out there and that inner Sandman starts playing for the first time? What does that feel like?
Yeah, I can take you back even before the first game in 21. I guess it was 22. We had a spring game, excuse me. And you talk about the level of excitement, engagement, just buy-in and ownership that the community has for the program. I felt it at the spring ball game. And so you fast forward a couple of months, just in 2022,
right?
And you go to the first home game and you feel the energy and the connection between the community and the program, just on an entrance.
Yeah. So as we see here, right, like this is the same thing. Like the coaches, it's the portal for the coaches as well as the portal for the players, right? Like guys leave, they, it's a season, but you never know what the opportunity. If you do well out of school, opportunity might be calling, right? You might be getting a bump to the NFL. You might be able to move to a higher program, a Power 4 from a, HBCU, whatever the situation is. We know we got to appreciate who we have now because the coaches are in the portal just like the players are now. Like it's 1 year, and I'm moving on, which is a part of your career. It's a ladder. You're heading to the top, right? What makes everybody successful? The anticipation for Georgia Tech is one that's going to define the season. I think we all agree with everybody right now. It's all about spring and then running, summer, then the fall camp, and then it's Georgia Tech, right? I went through this last season though. Let me talk to you for a minute. I did this last year, right? I go back, you can look on my channel. Talked about Georgia Tech, talked about Haynes King, talked about everything. I knew it was going to be an elite challenge. And then once you get there, the season goes like that, y'all. Like, y'all can attest, like, once that first game goes, it seems like the next week just keeps going like bam, 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 bam. And the next thing you know, the season was over. And I was like, damn, the season went by fast. So we got to cherish this time, spring football, doing all our analysis and breakdowns and all that because the season goes by fast, bro. Like, last season after Georgia Tech, it just seemed like the season started rolling, and then the next week, and the difference is we don't have 2 bye weeks like last year. Last year we had 2 byes. We only got 1 this year, and that's right after Texas Tech. So it's going to be even a more speed season. Like, you know what I mean? Last year we had 2 off whatever bye weeks. I don't know why I'm saying that, but all right, we're gonna get back in here a little bit. And I'm gonna get back in the lesson. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Say no more. If you can hit the thumbs up, I really appreciate it too. Say no more.
I mean, it's very unique, unlike anywhere else I've ever been, quite frankly.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like, in the tunnel as you're getting ready and as all these people are just jumping up and down. Can you feel them? Can you hear them?
Oh, you can
jumping on top of you?
Oh yeah.
Pause.
That's incredible. That is incredible. All right, so We mentioned you played at Vanderbilt.
Mm.
Your senior year was 2010. That was the year that Bobby Johnson retired.
OG Bobby Johnson. All right, we'll go into Chris Marve's 2010, his playing season, and everything. But I want to talk to you guys about what the thumbnail is about, right? What the defensive ends are asked to do as well, right? So in a 4-2-5 defensive line is still the front that makes the whole thing work. I already said that. Say no more. All right. Stay with me now. All right. My bad. All right. So the DN's job is usually set the edge. They have to keep the ball from bouncing outside cleanly. In a spread error, if the end loses contain, the whole structure gets stressed. So we all know outside edges got to set the edge, push everything back inside. We swarm to the ball, right? Spill or box the run based on the call, right? So the line and backers work together to cover all gaps. The ends leverage determines whether the ball spills to pursuit or gets boxed back inside, right? 3, you got to rush with discipline. So they cannot just fly upfield and open escape lanes. They have to rush under control so the quarterback cannot break contain, especially with the mobile quarterbacks, because for us last season, mobile quarterbacks was our kryptonite, bro. Like, go back and watch the tape. Y'all seen it like Utah, Georgia Tech, BYU. Let me see here. Guys that ran the ball. We got to be able to contain the quarterback. Absolutely. Discipline will be key for sure. Appreciate y'all being here for sure. So you got to play with hands and first step quickness, right? Good install, guys. Emphasize that D-line in this system needs a strong first step and active hands, right? What do we see? We already see Warren Sapp doing all this. You remember Warren Sapp used to be doing all this and, warming up and kicking over the pylons. Them hands got to be active on the D-line, right? Because the whole front is designed to create disruption without disruption. My bad. All right. So what kind of defensive end is Coach Marve and Coach Carter? They need edge setting strength. So start thinking about who's that guy right now you see in spring. Who's our edge setter with strength? Who has enough to burst to the rush? Who can get to the who can shed the block and get to the rusher, right? Who has good hands? Who has discipline and contain? Who has a great motor and effort? And who has the ability to play in space and spread looks, right? So when you guys call in today, I want you to tap in and see which one of those guys fit that build and fit that mode who we just talked about. We're going to get back to on 3. Looks like Chris Marve is going to talk about his playing days at Vanderbilt in 2010. Say no more.
2011
and
last season.
2011. I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. So Bobby Johnson retires and Robbie Caldwell takes over as head coach, which I was present for Robbie Caldwell's SEC Media Day press conference, which was maybe the greatest press conference of all time. Certainly the first press conference I've ever been involved in where a coach talked about being on the turkey insemination crew. But I got to ask you, what was that year like in terms of speeches? Pre-game, post-game, pre-practice, post-practice, like what kind of speeches does Robbie Caldwell give as the head coach?
We've all been there, bro. We've been with some legendary coaches who give legendary speeches, bro. Like I played for a coach who every other word was a curse word, bro. I promise you. Like, I don't even know if he knew anything. I don't even know if he knew anything regular English, bro. Every other thing was an MFer, MF this, MF that. You know good. And I swear, if whoever birthed you could not be this. I'm talking about, we've all had some coaches that talked crazy, right? So, but sometimes you need that, and they become legendary coaches who they just become memorable party because it's like they're one-on-one. There's nobody like this coach, right? There's nobody who talks like him, who expresses himself like that. So I'm eager to hear what Chris Marve had to say about that.
Coach.
Yeah, man. So I love Coach Caldwell, man. He's actually one of the men that I called when I became very interested in becoming a coach. Somebody who I respect immensely. And when he was the associate head coach, if I remember correctly, associate head coach, offensive line coach, before Coach Johnson retired, his role was that of the disciplinarian, right? And that of the guy that you don't want to see if you kind of got into trouble. And that was what everybody really thought about him until he assumed the role of head coach. He couldn't have been more of a player's coach, connected to the inner workings of the day-to-day life of a young man who's a student athlete on that campus, and just somebody who really cared about the longevity of you as a player, but also your life after football. So he's somebody that I have, again, tremendous amount of respect for, him and his wife and his family.
Chris Marve was on demon time at Vanderbilt. I ain't gonna hold you. Them eyes was popping out his visor. I ain't even gonna hold you. He coaches how he plays. And that's the best part, because when a player looks in a coach's eyes and they've been there before, they've done that, and they're trying to bring that best out of you. When you have a coach who played at a high level, the expectations are a little bit higher, but they also have to have a little bit more grace, because comparison is a thief of joy, right? Like, you might have a linebacker room who's not as talented as you when you played, but your job as a coach is to elevate them, and in their mind, they need to believe they're better than you when they played. You got to elevate them, and the scheme needs to fit them so well that it hides their deficiencies, right? Damn, I'm going to drop a bomb for myself right there. I ain't going to hold you. Put me on ESPN, bro. Anyways, appreciate y'all tapping in. I'm just kidding. Appreciate y'all tapping in, bro. I want to get back to what Chris Marve is talking about. Then we're going to get back to what the 3 technique and the nose tackle is doing in the 4-2-5. If you can hit the thumbs up, I really would appreciate it. We're doing a live reaction on 3, a Chris Marve interview, just talking about his history and his philosophy in this 4-2-5 system. All right, say no more. Appreciate it.
And was really good to us as players.
And he went on to be a very good offensive line coach on those really good Clemson teams. And, when you call him and say, hey, coach, I'm thinking about getting into that business.
All right. I ain't going to hold you. They're talking way too much about the coach for me right now. We're going to get back into what the 3 technique and the defensive tackle was asked to do. So if you're here and you see the thumbnail, we're talking about the Colorado defensive linemen, right? Their assignments, alignment, what they're asked to do. We understand one of the biggest questions for 2026, we completely reset our defensive line, our whole defensive side of the ball. I like what we got. We like what we've seen in the portal. We like what we got. Hungrier guys that's on a mission. The Ezra Christensen situation right now, if anybody knows any updates on what Ezra Christensen, I thought we were in the clear, but apparently we're not all the way in the clear with New Mexico State defensive tackle Ezra Christensen. Big part of the transfer portal defensive tackles that we got. He was really one of the headliners. We did really good at that position, but he was one of the headliners. So I'm hoping everything goes through for that young man. He gets that last year eligibility. I don't know why they hating. We got quarterbacks out here playing 9 years, 10 years. They're 30 years old. They're still getting paid, and we can't give somebody a 5th or 6th year. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Like, super selective, bro. That's the thing about college football where everybody was talking about. Super selective. Like, some guys get 8 or 9 years. So many waivers get cleared for them. And then a guy Ezra can't get a year back? Come on, bro. That's crazy work. That's crazy. So, the 3 technique is usually the more disruptive interior player in an over-under front. The 3 tech controls the B gap, but he often does it more penetration value than the nose. All right. We talking football talk. That wasn't me. All right. So the 3 tech job is usually win the B gap. He must defeat guards and disrupt zone power schemes before they get started. Right. So who's that guy in your mind right now? We're going to be where our feet's at. We're talking about spring football. Who's that disruptor right now? Who can disrupt zone and power schemes right now? I want you to tap in. Let me know right now. Who's your 3 technique guy? Who can create backfield disruption? This is often the tackle who can wreck timing and force backs to bounce or cut early. Who's that guy you've seen so far in spring? We know it's way too early. It's just spring, but that's all we got to go on. We got to be where our feet's at. I can't look into the future and tell you what fall camps look like. I can only tell you what we've seen so far in spring and the limited footage that we have been allowed to see. We understand we're not privy to the entire Colorado practice, just like every other organization is not giving us their full practice from start to bottom. We get really like a highlight reel or a highlight tape, and that's cool. I love it. Like, I'll take that any day of the week. But based off of that, who stands out to you guys, right? That's a decent question to ask. So, rush interior on pass downs, right? He is often a key part of pass rush games because inside pressure ruins quarterback rhythm faster than edge-only pressure. If you can get somebody, think Warren Sapp, right? You can get somebody that's whooping that center, whooping that guard off the line of scrimmage. Curtains, bruh. It's over. That disrupts everything. So, who you guys feel is that guy that can do that for us? Appreciate you guys being in here. If you can hit the thumbs up. We're in here talking about the Colorado defensive lineman and most importantly, the 3 technique. All right, so play with violence and movement, right? The ideal 3 technique in a 4-2-5 is not just a plugger. He is a disruptive athlete who can dent the pocket and change run track. So, man, boy, what 2 D tackles could do for your whole defense if they are disruptors, bro. I'm telling you right now. What kind of 3 technique Coach Marve and Coach Carter front needs? Quick get off the line of scrimmage, fast. Hand violence. Think Warren Sapp. Hand violence, right? All that. Swim moves, chop, all that. You know, Dwight Freeney spin. Got to be violent with your hands. B-gap disruption, pass rush value, effort, and finish, right? That's what we're looking for. Get this back up there for you. Run time for the one time. All right. So, we know Dante Carter is likely looking for from the defense. We know Dante Carter was promoted from graduate assistant to defensive line coach. Hey, salute to Dante Carter getting his opportunity. Hey, you get your opportunity, you go lock in, bruh. Easy call, right? We already know the history of Dante Carter. I don't really have to go into that. You know, you can look on his bio on Colorado football. They'll be able to tell you or whatever. So what Coach Carter brings is pass rush detail, hand usage, get off, finishability, edge technique, players who can convert rush skill into production. But most importantly, he worked directly under Coach Warren Sapp, who's no longer with us. He decided to step away from the program. Salute to Coach Sapp. Go wrestle some alligators and I will see, you know, keep doing what you're doing out there, Coach Sapp. But we seen in the footage, Coach Sapp was the one that was, Dante Carter was a graduate assistant. He was setting up all the drills. He was running the drills with Sapp. He's been passed he's Daniel's son, right? To Mr. Miyagi, right? Coach Sapp was Mr. Miyagi. Dante Carter was all right. When you soak up game, you're there, you know. Dante Carter is going to develop the D-line and push them, but they're still a part of a system that Chris Marve is going to implement what he wants from them. So, say no more. Let me keep it moving, keep it grooving. All right. So, what Chris Marve and what Coach Chris Marve and Coach Carter are looking for from the front 7 together, right? Can they control the run with 6 box hats plus structure, right? So, the whole point of the 4-2-5 is balance. Enough DB speed to survive spread football, but enough box integrity to stop the run. And we all know at the end of the day, we got to stop the run, period. If teams, listen, we talked about this if you were on the live here, earlier in the week, last week, right? Oh, what's good? What's good? What's lit in the chat? What's good, y'all? What's happening? If we can't stop the run, then the Brennan Marion's offense gets no burn. Like, we're not going to be able to create that for that 5th quarter. We're not going to be able to create those extra snaps, those extra drives. If Georgia Tech gets the ball to start the 1st quarter and Colorado doesn't get the ball until 6 minutes left in the 1st quarter, say no more. I ain't even going to hold you. Say no. That right, we got to be able to get them off the field 1st and 12 instead of 2nd and 12 instead of 2nd and 4, 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 2. Very important, right? Can they rush without losing structure? Ends must contain, tackles must dent the pocket, linebackers must add when called, right? Cool. Can they play with identity? Marv's own word says this is the spring goal. Effort, mindset, style of play, situational intelligence, and unit football, right? So, winning defense starts with mindset, being situationally very efficient to exceptional, playing fast and aggressive with tremendous effort as a unit. Listen, this is all important when it comes particularly to what we're going to be asked, what they're evaluating in spring, which is who fits this, who plays the good 3 technique, who plays the good 5 technique. You know, who's our speed rushers, who's our power rushers, who's violent with their hands, who controls the B gap, who controls the A gap. These are all things that's being evaluated internally during spring. By the time we get to fall, we want to have our guys in our mind like, okay, this guy is exceptionally at his role. What do they always say? Be a star in your role, right? You got to be a star in your role in football. So in order for this whole 4-2-5 scheme to work, the defensive linemen are crucial. So I know we looked at offense. We looked at all the receivers, all the running backs. We looked at the safeties and everything. But football is played on the line of scrimmage, on the offensive line and the defensive line. That's where the battle is won. So it got to get real nasty in the trenches, bro. And when we get into that, after that bye week, when we head into that schedule, when we head into them big boys, and listen, if you've been here before, you heard me say this already. If we can hit the thumbs up in here too, I really would appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being in here. Appreciate you guys taking out your time to tap in with Say No More. We're just talking some defensive line fronts, some Coach Marve fronts, you know, the usual. But once we get into the back end of the schedule, when it's raining and it's snowing and it's cold, and you see how this weather has been, the world is tweaking already with all this bipolar weather. Our skill players, hey, when it's raining and snowing, we got to do what? Run the ball. The other team's going to do what? Run the ball. So we got a couple of weeks, you know, we got August, we got September, we got middle October, but once that November, December hits, it's all about the trenches, baby. All of the trenches are going to control our season. And what do you do? What do they give us? One of the strongest back end schedules, toughest power forward schedules on the back end. When after that cool weather, all right, we got our slick receivers, we got all these, we got the Brandon Mann, we got the Go-Go Robin. So we're gonna have to be able to run the ball, control the clock on offense, and on defense, we're gonna have to be able to get people off the field early and often, right? Cool. All right, we're gonna get back over to Chris Marve doing a live reaction to On 3. Appreciate y'all being in here. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Say no more.
And the dedication that's necessary in order to see it through. And so that's the first question that you get. And then the second thing that came out of his mouth was a statement, and he said, I always knew you're going to be a coach. You're going to be really good at this. And to get affirmation like that from somebody that saw you as a young man playing football who had no desire whatsoever to get into coaching, for him to immediately say that was certainly affirmation for me to go down this path. And I'm glad that I have.
And you mentioned asking Coach Pry about it, Brent Pry, your current boss at Virginia Tech. At that point, I mean, you're probably not thinking, hey, this guy's going to be the head coach and I'm going to be the DC for him someday. But could you tell, hey, he's keeping an eye on me?
Well, Coach Pry and I have always had a really close relationship. I mean, I was his starting Mike linebacker the year that I was with him. He would have us over to his home all the time and take care of us in terms of
Say no more
meals provided. I had the opportunity to do what do you call those? I forget those meals that you can have.
The occasional meal, I believe, is the NCAA term for it. That's right.
And bro, they couldn't even get fed back in the day, bro. Ain't that crazy? Bro, that's crazy. Back in the day, you had to eat the cafeteria food while the university was making millions, almost billions of dollars off the players. You couldn't even accept a Whopper from anybody or you would get ineligible and they would strip people of scholarships. Bro, that system, I'm so happy that old system is over. You have people putting the people who's putting the butts in the seats, the guys who fill the stadiums couldn't even get a cheeseburger from a coach or they would be deemed ineligible. What kind of rules is that? That was crazy, bro. I'm so happy the players get this NIL. Now I feel like it has to be a little regulated, but look how unregulated college football has been for years, bro. They've been getting chicken off the players' back for years. Millions of coaches. The coach getting paid, compared to the players playing on the field. You got a scholarship and $3 million in a dorm. Of course, we know everything, all the players who were getting paid under the table and all those stories, of course. But now it's legal. Guys can get paid. Look at Marv. He was afraid to tell. Oh, yeah, he gave me coach gave me a couple noodles. I don't want him to go back and take our scholarships away. That was crazy, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. Nasty work. All right, let me get back in here. Appreciate everybody being in here. If you get a thumbs up. From here, I'm going to go over to Buff Stampede. They did a preview on Colorado spring football. They're talking about expectations coming back from the break. So we're going to finish up this interview. We're going to jump over there and then finish what we were talking about tonight. Appreciate y'all being here. How everybody doing, though? What's the word, chat? What's good? What's good with the fam? What's good with everybody? Jay Jacob, Jay Jack, what up? Dre, what's the word, fam? Let me tap in here. Let me see. Northside Roger, what's the word, Brody? Dre 2K11, what's up with it? TMFB, what's the word, TMFB? What's happening? Cam Duncan, the legend, Cam Duncan. Salute, bro. What's good? Always good to see you around, Duncan. Glad to see you doing good, fam. Let me see here. Too much drama. What up? What up? Too much? What's the word? Keith Lamont. What's going on, Keith Lamont? Good to see you in here, brother. What's going on? Let me see here. Make sure I ain't missing nobody. Levert Atkins, what's going on? Appreciate you being in here, fam. Appreciate you guys tapping in tonight. We ain't going to be too long. All right, looks. Oh, Vibes. What up, Vibes? What's the word? Willie G, what's the word? T-Trust, Willie G. D16. All right, appreciate everybody. What's going on? All right, let's get back to Chris Marve. Say no more.
He'd have us over. He'd also have us over on Thanksgiving, take us out. There was an occasion where I actually couldn't make it. I was studying for an exam, and Coach got me a meal and actually brought it to where I was staying that day. So you talk about somebody who has a tremendous amount of investment in his players, who cares about their well-being. And even when I was no longer playing for him, but still living in Nashville, not in coaching yet, he would inquire as to how I was doing, how my fiance, who's my wife now at the time, was doing, and still invite me over to just come fellowship. And I no longer played another snap for him.
All right, so that's good. That's good. I think we're gonna. That's a good place for Chris Marve's interview there. So we have a passionate defensive coordinator who's coming over from a very well-rounded coaching tree. He's very tapped in college football. He's been around and played for some very inspirational coaches and some guys who overall had an impact on his life. So he's definitely looking to have that impact on not only the coaching staff here, but the players that we have in 2026. I'm going to go over here to buffstampede.com. Go like, comment, and subscribe to buffstampede.com. As I always like to hear Adam Mustergeiger's perspective and William Gardner. They're talking about after a week-long break, Colorado set to resume spring ball. Salute to Adam Mustergeiger and William Gardner. They started off with Big Niblet. Oh, I ain't going to say Big Niblet. Hold on. Let me go here. I'm going to let this play. My bad. But what's good, though? How everybody doing tonight? What's the word? What y'all getting? What other channels everybody watched today? What else everybody watched today? Let me know something. What everybody tap in today? Today, I caught DMVR buffs earlier. I caught the tail end of DMVR buffs earlier. So I was able to watch DMVR. I caught some pregame network earlier as well. Was able to tap in over there. Salute to them guys, what they got over there. What everybody get to watch today? What y'all tap in with? Let me know something. Let me know what everybody watched today. All right. Gonna get over here to Buff Stampede Radio Live. Go like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna do a live reaction. Say no more.
Inevitably, you get some jackass going too slow, and then some other jackass thinks it's the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah. That's the whole issue. Normally I would prefer, just because I know a lot of folks like written comments, written stories out there, but I felt like we were able to catch up with some good former buffs and do some other fun stuff during this spring break. But William, I'm ready to get back into football for sure.
So to bring everybody up to speed, right? I don't know how much access everybody has now to Colorado and their practices, right? I'm just being real. If you're in Boulder, you can let me know, right? I don't know if the media has the complete access like they want to have, or honestly, I don't want to misspeak and say they do or they don't, but I don't know how much they're available or what their availability is, if they're being, how much they're being allowed inside practice. And this is Colorado media. This is Boulder media. These are their news outlets and their media channels, right? So I'm not there, so I can't speak on directly how much access they have. But when they do, they cover what they've seen. They're able to break their inside stories and talk to us about what's going on in Boulder. So this is basically what they've seen so far, and the access that they have had. I'm not sure how much access that is, but we're gonna hear what they have to say. Appreciate everybody being in here. If you get the thumbs up, say no more.
Yeah, there was two things that stuck out to me from what Coach had to say there. The first one was him talking about college versus high school coaches, and I think a lot of people assume that if you're a college coach, you're a better coach than a high school coach, but that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of people in college. There's a lot of people in the NFL coaching who don't belong there because they know the right people. But some people stay at high school because that's where they feel more comfortable, or because, like as he said, his family situation, he didn't really expand upon it, but there's lots of reasons why somebody could be a high school coach and be a damn good coach and know what he's talking about. So I know some people are like, well, he's a high school coach. He can't do things first here, it seems like.
Okay, so we've got 8 more spring practices in a spring game. So 9 more sessions over this 3-week stretch.
All right, so over 3 weeks, we got 8 more practices plus a spring game. So if that's news to the ears, that's good news to hear. So we understand 8 more practices and a spring game over the course of 3 weeks. So say no more. That's what I'm saying. Time is moving, bro. Time is moving fast, and it ain't stopping for nobody. We got to put belt. Say no more.
What are you hoping to see out of the Colorado Buffaloes, or is it one of those things where you're not going to really get to know this team until the fall?
Huh.
Well, let me take that question first. I think we will get a good view of what this team is in the fall, because as you and Brian mentioned earlier this week, we're not going to lose these guys to a second portal. So we'll know coming out of spring pretty much what this team is. I think you guys talked about I think Brian thought maybe 5 added. You thought maybe 5 to 10 guys added through various ways before fall camp. Now that's not a huge amount, and I think they'd be a strategic.
That's very important. So we're not. Hey, what you see is what you get. Ain't nobody leaving. We locked in, baby. It's up. So if they're here, they ain't leaving now. What I would like to see is if we got some high schoolers that are not on campus yet. You know, they probably got to finish out school, graduate. They weren't able to do the early enrollees. Okay, that's understandable. But if we can find some diamonds in the rough in the portal, add some depth, I ain't mad at you. I ain't even gonna hold you. Without losing anybody, I would love to do that. I would love to add somebody. I would love to add another with Edger Christensen. With that eligibility lingering, I wouldn't. Hey, let's go. Let's go see who out there and see what it do.
Positions like defensive tackle and what have you. But I think we're going to have a pretty good idea of what this team is by the end of spring. And talking about spring break, I want to say that it's always tough to come up with something to talk about a little bit after spring break. But the best news that you ever get out of spring break is no news, man, because there ain't ever any good news. So when you got no news, that's good news. So the guys kept themselves safe and in line. And I think what we're looking for, the first and foremost thing to me the last few weeks is no injuries. You know, it's a damn shame to lose a guy for a season toward the end of spring ball. But aside from that, they need to continue to get to know each other, build that chemistry, which I think has gone well so far in the first group of practices, develop that identity. Yeah, I said it. Keep working on that toughness. I think the bigger thing really is with 2 new coordinators is getting everybody on the same page and teaching concepts and teaching the plays and such like that. So I think they just continue to fine tune and then.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like once they're back in Boulder, I feel like the weekends, I feel like you have a group that understands like weekends in the off season. What are you willing to sacrifice? If there's a big party on campus, hey, we're getting together to watch film. We're studying. We're learning the playbook. We're diving deeper into the go-go offense. We're diving deeper into the 4-2-5. We're learning the concept. And I feel like not only the players that we have, but the coaching staff. We got guys who are willing to sacrifice all the other stuff for what's important, and that's going out there and taking advantage of every time slot, the weekend, Sundays, time on people getting together, watching film. I really feel like we have that group of young men and the coaching staff that it's football first. And I feel like I don't even feel like we brought you in this year if football first wasn't your mindset. Like, not for the glitz and the glamour and say, oh, we're playing for CU and just think everything's all good. Nah, you got to grind this season. Every day counts. So, yeah, no, them getting together, learning the concepts and everything, I feel like that's important, building that brotherhood. I'm looking forward to at least maybe 2 retreats that they go on, no cell phones. They just go bond, talk, get to know each other and build that bond, because you play that much more for your brother. You play that much more if you feel like you know somebody and y'all on the same page. So that I don't think we got that last season because of Coach Prime's health. And I feel like that's going to be very, very significant this year, is that bonding, lead-a-phones at home, all those group projects, group solving they did, combine that with a couple more of them Navy SEAL trainings and everything, they're going to be all right. Go put that belt and get that identity. Say no more.
You continue to put guys in situations to compete, to see who stands up and who lays down, because that's what you're looking for in spring. The other thing is you do a little experimenting in spring, try guys at different positions, things like that. I remember one spring, Coach McCartney had Kurt Koch, who's a 6'7" all-conference defensive tackle, try at tight end. That was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. But just one of those things, you're trying to get out of spring ball with gaining a lot of stuff, and I think I'm just going to watch and see how this offense continues to develop.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to get more of your thoughts on the coordinators and the challenges of implementing this scheme in year one under both their watch. I wanted to get your thoughts real quick on our.
Will Colorado have 1,000-yard rusher this season? That is a great question, and for me, I want one. Let me explain that. I want 1,000-yard rusher because I understand what a run game is going to do for Juju Lewis, and it's going to do for the quarterbacks. What it's going to do for this offense. If we have a run game moving forward, I feel like if we got a back that is just clicking, he's moving, he's grouping. I know we have a talented group, but if we find a back that takes off, hey, let's feed him. I ain't going to hold you. Let's feed him, because running the ball equals wins and controlling the clock. And I think this year in the go-go offense, and I think just getting back to the basics period, let's first start. I think we're going to have multiple 500-yard rushers. I'm going to say that off the rip. I think we're going to have at least 4 500-yard rushers. And I'm going to say at least 3 500-yard rushers and a 700-yard rusher, maybe. If we could crack that. We got to crack 2,000 yards rushing for sure. That's a fact. If we want to play winning football, for me, unless I understand we're super dynamic in the wide receiver room too, but are we going to see 1,000-yard rusher? What y'all think? We going to get 1,000-yard rusher? I don't know. I know he has had 1,000-yard rushers, but we have so much talent at wide receiver and running back. I don't know. I'm with a well-balanced attack, but we got to run the ball for sure. Appreciate everybody being in here. If you get the thumbs up, let's hear what Adam Mustard guys just cooking up right here. Let me see.
Roundtable feature from last week. We're going to have a new one up either later tonight or tomorrow morning. Leo Rivera has done a great job running this feature for us. And most of us didn't think there was going to be 1,000-yard rusher because they're going to spread the ball around. You might have had a different thought.
Yeah, I think you're all wrong, and I think I base it on history, man. He's had 1,000-yard rusher everywhere he's been, and he's not changing the offense. He had last year, and I went back and checked. Last year he had a 1,200-yard rusher, and then 3 guys who ran for over 700 yards.
I think that's cap. Now what I seen last season, he had like a 1,200-yard rusher and like 3 guys that ran for over 500 and something yards. But I don't think he had 3 guys that ran for over 700 yards at Sacramento State. The quarterback, Uncle Keith, what's going on, Uncle Keith? What's going on? Yeah, I don't think he had three. Like Sacramento State didn't have three guys that went over 7. Now he might be going back before that, maybe UNLV or earlier. But last season it was like a 1,200 yarder, and then like 2 500-yard rushers, and then the quarterback ran for like 400 or something yards. But 3 running backs over 700 yards and a 1,000-yard rusher. Nah, I don't think that. But salute to Mr. Gardner. But I don't think. Unless they're going back further, I think it was like 1,200 and 3 500-yard running backs.
2 years ago, he had a 1,000-yard rusher. I think the third year, one or two or three of those, one of those years, the quarterback was a 1,000-yard rusher. But he has a 1,000-yard rusher in every season in this offense. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't happen now.
Paul Noto 7757 asked, Adam, where are we on the 105 roster limit regarding adding guys? It's pretty close. It would have to be
question.
kind of you've got a couple spots there, but it would have to be kind of drop and add there. Again, you said recapping the conversation I had with Brian, I think it's going to be something smaller like 5, which just is a very small number nowadays in college football from an attrition standpoint. So you're going to still see some of that though going on.
Yeah, I don't think we'll lose anybody that came out of spring as a starter. Well, we won't. I mean, unless they get injured, right? So, yeah, getting back to what I know the thought about that 1,000-yard rusher for you guys is they're going to spread the ball around. But you look at how much they spread the ball around last year and the year before, and I still think they're going to get that 1,000-yarder. I don't know who it'll be.
We didn't spread the ball around or nothing last season, bruh. Spread the ball around. No way. Like, nah, yeah, I'm seeing different in the chat. I'm seeing here what everybody will be talking about. Let me see. Uncle Keith said Colorado got too many good receivers, and the Buffs are gonna play Weber State one time with that good weather too. Like, here's my thing with the Colorado, and what I'm hoping is that we have so much talent offensively. Great point, Uncle Keith. Great point. So much great talent, speed, that I hope good weather. I hope we get sunny. I'll even take cold weather, just not snow and rain. Hold off snow and rain to November. If we can catch every opponent on a sunny day, but let's say we'll dip down to the 50s, 40s, but it ain't snowing to where we can actually move the ball, no high winds. I think we're gonna be able to put up over 35 a game. Easy call. But I think the weather, once it starts getting slushy and gloomy and rainy and snowy, that's when I'll be like, damn, bro. Like, I hope our skill players are still, our wide receivers, our passing game is that much effective. But even more, why we're gonna have to rely on a run game just a little bit more, depending on the weather. All right, we're doing a live reaction to Buff Stampede. They're giving their thoughts on the offense, 1,000-yard carrier. Appreciate y'all being in here. As you know, we tap in with a little bit of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Whoever has something that they're talking about that's significant to see you, I'm going to cover it. Appreciate you guys tapping in. Say no more.
One of the interesting things I think we're watching that running back room to see who asserts themselves and who steps up to the top. I really like the 2 big guys, Richard Young and Damian Henderson. But, DeCalen Taylor brings a whole other thing to the game. Jaquel Smith gained 500 yards in this offense last year.
Facts.
And Michael Wells needs to make that next step. So there's a lot to do in that running back room. And I think all your receivers and running backs are going to have to prove every time they get out there that they can make plays.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to get the opportunity. I just want to see some good hooping those first 4 or 5 games with the weather holds up. Hey, if the weather holds up all the way through November, December, I'm loving it, bro. I ain't going to hold you. If we get to see this offense with no rain, no snow, no 30 miles an hour wind, we get to see them playing out. They're going to handle business. They're going to go out there and put up points with anybody, with the best of them. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think our offense can go score with the best of them. What I'm thinking about is that back end with that weather, bro, and how our O-line and D-line, when you got to get nasty and you got to get them 10-7 wins, them 10-7 win, them 7-3 grinded out wins. Some of those games do happen. You feel me? We're playing some some pretty decent teams on that back end.
Yeah, good stuff there. So you've got Brennan Marion installing this offense that is very innovative. It's going to keep defenses on its heels. It's going to get the ball out to its playmakers. It's going to be a pain in the butt for defense coordinators. Now, when Sean Lewis came in first year, different offense, but some of the similar philosophies with some tempo stuff and really keeping defenses on their heels, not relying on an offense line to sit back there and pass pro for a long period of time.
Good play.
That did not mesh with Shedeur Sanders. What we saw with
that's Sean Lewis. I ain't gonna hold you. He came out and threw for what? Almost 500 yards against TCU that first. Yeah, Lewis didn't last as long as we thought he was, but the tempo, for what I'm seeing, like the tempo, kind of like the pace that they're running with, I want to say the go-go offense tempo is even a little bit faster than that as far as like the amount of plays we're trying to run. So in shape is going to be, the conditioning is going to be key as well. Can we create that tempo and tire teams out to where we're getting up to the line of scrimmage and they're breathing heavy, they're in Boulder, they can't catch their oxygen, and we are just subbing in personnel. We're just going crazy. So yeah, from what I see, there's been Sean Lewis, of course, Pat Shermer, now Brendan Marion, the third offensive coordinator. Say no more.
Isaac Wilson, it seems like he fits into this new offense pretty well. Julian Lewis is going to adapt. I'm not selling my stock on him by any stretch. And you've got a nice true freshman quarterback in there. You've got some skill guys that have been in the system before, but the vast majority have not. You've got one O-line men that has, the vast majority have not. What is the biggest challenge in your view to having Brennan Marion install this go-go offense and have it actually be successful in year one?
Well, I don't think
a good question.
Anticipate this answer, but the number one thing that has to happen is that he and his assistant coaches have to mesh, and they have to be on the same page. I don't think the offensive line concepts for this offense are not markedly different than a pretty much straight zone offense. So, he needs to sit down with Gunnar White and Andre Giroux and George Hageman and just make sure they're on the same page. But getting the coaches all the same page.
I feel like coming back from spring break right now, the quarterbacks, Brendan Barry's the quarterback coach, Gunnar White, the offensive line coach, the running backs coach. They're all, man, this is a what you call it? This is a big install right now. Like, they have to understand what he wants, what the offensive line, the little intricacies, hand placement, depth, where he wants to reach into the second level for the offensive line. All those things have to mesh, but it's March. So this is the install time. This is also, we want to see who's picking it up. This is when you want to evaluate the players and see who's picking up the scheme, how I want it done. It doesn't matter if I'm installing. I want to see somebody who can grasp it and then who's running it the way that I envisioned it, the way Brendan Marion envisioned it. So this spring evaluation is very important because it's setting people up to know who's grasping it, who's kind of falling, who's not getting it, who is it, executing the play alignment assignment to live it up to his expectation, because he is the creator of the offense. So he wants, and you see how he is with the details. Everything matters, like quarterback's feet placement, their depth, where they're releasing the ball, where they're getting the ball, the wide receivers, their yards, where they're breaking off their routes. All this stuff matters. So that extra time they're putting in, all this matters. Appreciate y'all being in here. We're doing a live reaction to Buff Stampede. If you can hit the thumbs up, appreciate y'all rocking me. How everybody doing tonight? Say no more.
So that they're all coaching the same thing. For example, is Jason Phillips making those receivers block, for example. But this is Marion's offense. He don't have any question marks about what he knows. He knows the thing inside and out, and he can teach it. So they got to teach it. He's got to teach it the coaches, and he brought some guys with him, and they got to make sure that the players get it. But like you said, the quarterbacks are the key to it. And I think this is the first time in a long time that I look at it and say 3 quarterbacks that if emergency happened, any one of them had to play, it wouldn't be the end of the season,
I agree.
So I think getting those quarterbacks, like Coach Marion said when he first came in, is like, you need to find a quarterback that can distribute the ball right, like a point guard, and I think we're seeing some of that already. Like you said, I think I think Julian Lewis will get there. I think Isaac Wilson's doing really well. So then really, other than that, it's the timing and coordination with the different positions and what have you, and getting the players to be able to see what the defense is and make the right calls and such like that. But I don't think it's going to be a big problem to get this offense going because it's not a complicated.
Neither do I. You give Brendan Marion this amount of talent heading into Georgia Tech now. What I will say is I'm looking forward to the matchup between Brendan Marion and then the new defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech because he likes to dial up the pressure. There are times the go-go offense has been figured out. You can go back and look last season, UNLV. It hasn't gone undefeated. So I just keep it real on my channel. There are ways to challenge it, and I feel like the defensive coordinator from Georgia Tech is going to try to put pressure on Julian Lewis early. He's going to try to disrupt his rhythm. He's going to try to rattle him. So that's why I feel like the running game is going to have to, we don't want to put the whole game on Juju's shoulders or, the offense. We want to be able to run the ball, and then make the plays when needed. RPO, play action, get Zach Atkins involved, get these screens, these bubble screens, get our athletes out in space. I'll take our athletes versus anybody. Real talk. But the quarterback room is very deep this year. We see what Isaac Wilson is doing. We see what Sweetwine's doing. We see what Juju is doing. I love our quarterback room this year, boy. I ain't gonna hold you. Very, very exciting, especially coming off the Shedeur Sanders era. We need somebody to step up that's gonna put this program on their shoulders, be a leader, go out there and put their wrist up to the student section, let them know we here and carry the team in the battle. Appreciate everybody being in here. We're doing a live reaction to Bus Stampede. How everybody doing tonight? Let me know what channels you guys tapped into earlier, who else you guys watched. We just kicking it, talking some football tonight. Say no more.
It's not a complicated 500-page NFL offense. It relies on concepts more than specific formations and what have you. So I don't think it's going to be too big of a problem on the offense. I think it'll go well. I think we got a boatload of speed on this team on offense this year. So you really don't have to open up everything you want to do, but you got to get that running game working big first thing, So the key thing to me, I think, is figure out your best 5 up front. And I don't think we're anywhere close to that yet. I think there's a lot of people still in that mix. And then make sure your quarterbacks know the offense and have good leadership, and I think we missed out on that in a big way last year.
Man. Chris Marve's challenge was a little bit different in the sense that he came in thinking that he's going to coach linebackers and then gets thrust into this role. Now he does have that prior experience at Virginia Tech to lean on. Did not coach football last year. So you know that he's passionate. You've seen that in those practice behind.
Hey, the chat's lit. Hey, what's going on, bro? What's the word? Let me take a look. Oh, bro, it's funky in there. Ooh wee. Oh man. Well, I can't put that on the screen. Say no more. All right, we're gonna get back to this live reaction to Bus Stampede. It's going up in the chat. I ain't gonna hold you. It's Liddy in there. Let me drop a bomb. That's crazy work. Man, say no more.
In the scenes videos through 6 spring ball practices. He's gonna, it sounds like, go a little bit more zone. What are the challenges with him implementing his scheme, especially kind of getting a little later start on it than maybe Marion had?
Yeah.
So he just talked about Adam Mustergeiser. Salute to Adam Mustergeiser. Goes tap into Buff Stampede if you can. Great point right here. Chris Marve came over to coach the linebackers, and he was, from what we've seen, we don't know what the intricate details are behind the scenes, but Livingston we already know Livingston had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, basically. Word came out he was taking interviews with the Dallas or whatever. But what Miss Adam Mustergeiger just said was that Chris Marve came over to coach the linebackers, and then Rob Livingston dips. He goes to the Broncos. Rob Livingston is, he was a defensive coordinator originally, but he wasn't originally brought in. Now, you never know. I wouldn't put it out of the possibilities that maybe, we knew Livingston was on the way out and we bring in a guy who has that defensive coordinator just in case. Cross your T's and dot your I's. Don't quote me there. I'm not officially saying that's what it is, but look how it played out. We're not left, we didn't get left with nobody, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they had a backup plan for a backup plan for a backup plan. The communication was open amongst the channels. They knew, what was going on. So, that's what he was just talking about right now, the Adam Mustergeiser, to keep it real.
Yeah, he's got a significantly bigger challenge on a variety of levels. But before I go into that, I do want to mention something you mentioned, that Coach Marve is a high-energy guy. And I think one thing that people are overlooking that's going to be a huge difference on this team. For the last few years, we've had coordinators on both sides of the ball that seemed like they were on Thorazine drip or something, man. It's like they just had no fire, no personality, and there was nothing to them. And we're going to have coordinators on both sides of the ball this year that are going to have guys playing with their hair on fire, and that's going to make a big damn difference.
Facts.
So I'm excited to see that part of it. I think Marv, first and foremost, has to deal with some player issues on the defensive line. He's got to, get some defensive tackles, I think. Again, I think he's going to have to coach up that brand new defensive tackles coach a little bit. Make sure that all these coaches know exactly what he wants and how he wants them to play.
That's a great point. Communication between Chris Marve and Dante Carter, understanding like what we talked about, right? Understanding what he expects from the defensive tackles in this 4-2-5 scheme, and then Dante Carter's job is to develop and get the guys in position that fits Chris Marve's scheme, the 3 technique, everything. So yeah, that's a great point. Between guys coaching together for the first time, it's different when you got a staff that's worked together continuously. They know what the defensive coordinator wants. They know what they're looking for. Right now, it's like an install for the coaches, and it's an install for the players as well. So just ain't nothing to it. Dante Carter looks like somebody who's hungry, who knows some things, and it can adjust. You see him fired up. You see his intensity there. This is his opportunity. So hey, come on now. This got to be the strongest group on the defense. He's tasked with possibly one of the biggest coaching assignments of the season is get this D-line ready to go put belt. That's a fact. Appreciate everybody being in here. We're doing a live reaction to buffstampede.com. Appreciate everybody in the chat. It's going up. It's turned in there. I ain't even looking because I don't even want to know. Say no more.
I think we're going to play passive like we did last year. I think he's going to want people getting to the ball and striking and having an entirely different mentality. And getting across that mentality and that ethic and whatever to this defense and teaching them to be, dogs on the hunt. I think it's easier in one way because he's not carrying over a bunch of guys that are used to last year. He's got a bunch of new guys and they're all there hungry, and he's got some leaders on that team, on that defense. I think they're going to help him do that. But it's not as easy to turn a defense, I think, into a coordinated group of 11 guys as it is for an offense. So he's got to work.
Do you guys agree with that? Do you agree it's harder to turn a defense into a coordinated group than an offense? I don't know. I think if you have a good group of guys that are dedicated and know how to play their position already, I think the defense could come out. We did it in 2024. We came out and put together a very, very, very well-rounded defense that played their positions very well. Corner, we could have tweaked it a little bit at corner, but we knew linebackers we were pretty set, defensive line we were pretty set, safeties we were pretty set. I think you can put together. I don't know how much I agree on that about. It's harder to for a defense to be one cohesive unit than an offense. I think if you have the right coordinators and the right position coaches, you can get, and the players want to, the more they hang around each other, the more they practice. I think it's kind of equal. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I ain't gonna hold you.
He's got to figure out who can really play in his secondary, when to use a zone, when to use a little more man and things like that, different coverages. He's got to teach them to hide those coverages to some extent, and you got to teach the fundamentals. We got to have better fundamentals right from the ground up. If we can't tackle, if we tackle like we did last year, it doesn't matter where the hell they line up. So they got to improve the fundamentals significantly. So I think his challenge is a little more so. I mean, again, he knows his defense, so again, he doesn't have to learn somebody else's thing, but he's got to teach it to everybody else out there.
We got a lot more fun stuff coming on this show. We're going to do William Gardner versus Chat, Coach Prime trivia on the other side of this ad break. So, Chat, get ready. We're going to give William 10 seconds to get the correct answer. If he doesn't get it,
he ain't getting it. I'm going to let you know right now. He ain't getting it at all. All right, I'm going to open up the lines right here. Want to hear from you. Tap in. All right, I'm going to post the link right here. All right, I just posted the link right here. If you guys want to call in, tap in on the defensive line right here. We talked about the front seven, right? Yeah, we talked about our defensive line right here. Who you like in the 3 technique, who you like in the 1 technique. So just to give you a brief overview right here, we talked about the defensive linemen. Who do you like on the edge? Where do you see we could use some help at? So I opened up the lines if somebody wants to call in and tap in. Let's tap in with the fam. It's hard to have coordinated defense because players could get out of position, try and make a play. I agree. I'm gonna see what you guys talk about. Let me see. J Jack. Coach Pendergrass took Arizona to the Super Bowl and had them boys right. Say no more. Say no more. Gideon and Tyler are good linebackers in the fold. Absolutely. So somebody commented earlier today, somebody had tapped in with me and said they played in a 4-2-5 in college and said when you have a great 4-down lineman, a 4-front, the linebackers aren't asked to do as much because the front 4 are supposed to carry the defense. So that was a great point by him for sure. Northside Rogers said Pendergrass kept Oregon offense to 13 points when Chip Kelly was the head coach. We know that team was rolling for sure. That's a great point, Roger. Let me see. It's enough leaders on that team. They will communicate for sure. That's a great point, Levert. for sure. Let me see here. All right, I ain't gonna put that up there. That's crazy. Let me see. All right, looks like it's just Liddy. All right. No, for sure. Appreciate everybody being in here. Fact. All righty. Moving right along. Let me get past this break here.
I remember my dad telling me for like a half an hour straight about the fact that Deion Sanders shuts down half the field and how he's like the most special football player he's ever seen. I remember these stories from my dad.
You can put a period at the end of that. Let me drop a bomb for that. Yo, hey, your dad was right. Salute to your pops. Salute to your pops. He was on point, Mr. Adam. That's the guy. Yeah, right. Damn right.
When I was watching that, still trying to, figure out football as a teenager at that point. But yeah, no, those are some great memories for sure.
Yeah, we talked about how special Travis Hunter was and some of the unbelievable plays he did, but that's what Deion Sanders did.
Yeah, I did. As a Major League Baseball player, did Deion Sanders have more RBIs or stolen bases throughout the course of his career?
I'm going to say more RBIs. I think he's a better hitter than people think. No,
You're wrong. Stolen bases 186 to 168 on RBIs.
Damn.
So it was close. That actually surprised me.
Yeah.
He did have 39 home runs, added 260.
All right. Mr. Keith, Uncle Keith, I'm going to bring you on stage. Remember, look out for your nephew, man. Look out for your boy.
Stunts for the run game as well as the pass game, because we got enough pass rushes, but everybody going to have to play. It's going to be undersized D tackles. You know, Hooper and Tyler Moore, and then that guy from Maryland. What's his name? Wilt. I can't pronounce his name. Sheree Smith. Whatever his name is.
Cedric
Yeah,
Smith.
yeah, but that dude, man, you know, did he get any playing time in Maryland? Because I don't think he got that much playing time, you know, to make an impact. But you know, I looked at his background and I'm like, I'm kind of iffy about him. But anyway, it's going to be some weekends going to have to grow up and show out, because he's the only one of size outside of Israel and Uso that can really handle inside between the guards and the center. But you know, they're gonna have to change up. That's why I'm thinking. That's why I keep saying that people, we gotta look at this. I think they're gonna look at a little bit of that 3-3. We're gonna see some of that in the game.
Okay.
Because of the size, only because of the, you know, because unless they get a massive boatload of people coming in from the JUCOs coming in, or from portal, transfer portal still got some talent. The transfer portal still got some talent. So therefore, things it can change. It can change, during the fall, right before fall, before the season start. But the D line is going to be very fast, very quick. Now this D line is very suited and really built for a team to be in the lead. If the Colorado Buffaloes happen to have a big lead and the team got to really go pass heavy, now Colorado got them. That's what happened in 2024. Colorado playing with the lead a lot. They was very, they're playing with the lead, so that's how BJ Green and everybody picked up on the sacks. That's how Colorado had led the Big 12 in sacks, because they were playing with a lead. Now they in a dogfight. Teams not going to try to pass it. They're going to try to run it down their throat, because they got a big line and they're going to try to run it down their throat.
Right.
That's what happened last year. Like I said before the last time I talked, that Georgia Tech game showed everything what teams was going to do to them. Because remember, that Colorado game, the Georgia Tech game, Colorado was balling. They really was balling. But at the same time, though, they couldn't get that double-digit lead.
That's true.
Because they were no more than 10-0. It was about 10-0, 7-0, 10-0 lead. That was it. And they had 3 turnovers in back. Wishman Carter was getting off. French was getting off, getting no fumble recoveries. The defense was balling.
French went crazy. That's a fact.
But what happened? As the game slowed down and Georgia Tech got their feet up under them, then that's when you saw the Haynes King show. Because and then they started taking over. They had a time of possession, and all that. They had all that working for them. They ran more offensive plays than Colorado. And then what happened? That's what happened. Then everybody looked at that game and they said, "That's it. We're gonna run it down their throat." And that's what happened in the Houston game. And all the way through. And then it was belt to ass the rest of the season, 3-9. That's what it was.
Tough. All right. So where do you see if Ezra Christensen doesn't end up being eligible, do you see us adding another defensive lineman through the portal? Or what do you think? Do you think we have enough if Ezra Christensen isn't available? Do you think we can roll with what we got, or do we have to search for somebody through the portal?
No, you gotta go through the portal. You gotta get one in as soon as possible. You gotta get that FedEx truck or that Amazon truck of delivery of defensive tackles in as soon as possible. Because
absolutely.
Because you can't go into this season. This season is too important to come in shorthanded and trying to, play that doggone consolation prize thing. Can't coach this season trying to prove a point. This is about winning.
Absolutely.
Can't worry about feelings in the season. It's all about winning. I mean, this I'm trying to tell them clowns in the commentary that look, man, the Big 12 is not the same. The Big
Right.
12 is not the same, bro. That
Oh,
everybody improved. Everybody gotten better. Yeah, everybody say, well, Colorado gotten better. But have they compared to the other teams? Because
yeah.
the margin of error is very narrow for Colorado compared to the rest of the team. All Texas Tech did was load up. All BYU did is load up money. So therefore, Baylor, they improved. They got DJ Lockway. Yeah, I know everybody talking about he kind of might be a borderline scrub. I wouldn't want to test it. And then,
Yeah.
and then you got Aiden Childs out there from Northwestern, and everybody keep on sleeping. Okay, keep on. I'm telling you right now, man, this schedule is loaded. This is not your 2024 schedule.
Right.
2024 schedule worked in Colorado's favor.
Right.
This schedule is loaded. You know what I'm saying? I wish we could play a lot of Weber States and UCF on a lot of, but it's not going to be that way. You got Texas Tech and Utah back-to-back games.
That's tough.
At home.
We got to put that belt.
I mean, just look at the schedule. Be honest with yourself. Don't be a fanboy and don't be a doggone, a delusional fanboy and then look at it and say, "Oh no, go Bucks! We gonna get it. We gonna get it." No, be realistic. Don't be a fan. Be a football. Look at it through your football common sense. Some people common sense is not common. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so therefore,
right.
And no offense to common sense, the man, the podcast guy, I like him. But anyway,
right.
But some people, football common sense, don't get delusional. I understand you see.
I agree.
You got to look outside there and step outside yourself and look at this team very, very carefully.
Absolutely.
Be realistic. Coach Marion doing great. Coach Marve is doing great. Everybody doing great. Brand new staff and everything. That's cool and all. But guess what? When the game starts, they're going to be on the outside of the white lines. They're not going to play. They're not playing. So you got to make sure that you hone down your expectations, calm your expectations down, take a deep breath, and say, I'm done with the Jedi mind tricks. No more Jedi mind tricks. No more doggone, I got a dream. We have a dream. Keep hope alive. All that stuff. Hey, calm down. Calm that down. You were 3-9. It was a mass exodus for a reason.
Yeah.
So calm down, relax. It's gonna be okay.
For sure.
But at the same time, though, don't go crazy talking about some 10-2, 11-1, all that other stuff.
Why not?
6-6.
Why not?
Because what I just say, come on, dog, say no more. What I just say, man, calm down. It's not gonna be like that. It's not. I hate to be. Don't let me. Come on, man. Don't do this, dog. Don't do it to yourselves.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. We keep it real on here, Uncle Keith.
I mean, look.
Schedule.
It's the schedule. You still gotta play the game. The schedule, man. Them teams improve too.
All right, hold on.
They have improved.
I'm doing it different tonight. I'm bringing somebody on the stage with you. Too much drama. What's the word?
What up, baby?
How you doing?
What up, dog? What up, dog?
What up, Unc? I want to piggyback. I want to piggyback on what Unc is saying, because when I look at this roster, the defensive line scares me. There's some good names on here. There's some good names. Tyler Moore, Samuel Tutupepe, Toby Anene, Kamara. There's some good players on this roster. They're just undersized. Connor Wegman. I know y'all brought up the kid from Georgia Tech. Connor Wegman shook our safeties out of their boots last year, and they let some white running back run all over them, man.
Exactly.
That's what we had last year.
So let a fake ass Larry Zonka run over.
Yeah, it starts with Georgia Tech. That's the game and I'm telling you right now, Georgia Tech is sitting there right now watching well-off media videos, watching all these videos that are being made, and they're seeing how we're panicking about the defensive line, and they're going to run the ball 40 to 50 times on us if we don't get this right. We still need 3 defensive tackles. This kid, Samu Tepepe, whatever his name is, got ran over by a true freshman who took his helmet off, Chauncey Gooden. That's the dude who relied on to stop the run? That dude who jump over a phone book?
Man, look, man. Not only that, though, but understand the Georgia Tech game is very important for Georgia Tech too. Georgia Tech got to protect their house. They got to protect their recruits. They got to protect their future recruits. If they lose their Buffs game, they're going to lose a lot of future recruits to Colorado.
Yeah.
They got some on the line too.
Unc, I know our offense is going to be explosive. I know the offense is going to do their thing. Hey, at the end of the day, we got to make a stop. We can sit here and talk about all the 20 corners that they have, the 20 receivers that we have, but we got about 7 defensive linemen. That's backwards, man. The Nebraska that beat us when Shedeur was there, their defensive linemen looked hungry. They were big. They had the cow collar in the back of their jerseys and stuff like that. Man, they looked intimidating. Our defensive line right now does not look intimidating on paper. It looks good on paper, but when I see them line up, they don't look intimidating to me at all.
Well, to be honest, since Coach Prime been in Colorado, the line has been always been behind the rest of the other positions on the Colorado team. If they recruit linemen the way they recruit receivers, man, we'd be top 5 team in the nation right now. But they build a team from the outside in instead of inside out.
Yeah, and that's
what
why
they did.
Matt McChesney, as emotional as he is, he has a point because this guy knows the meat and potatoes in Colorado. Forget the skill players. Keep going to Florida. Keep going to Georgia. Keep going to Texas. Start dipping in some Polynesian kids, which they've done, which is great. I think that pipeline's going to end. But get these corn-fed white boys from Colorado, from North Dakota, from South Dakota, and have them play at Colorado. My whole offensive line should be white boys, and I'm cool with that.
We always gonna get the running backs and the glory positions. They always gonna get them because they love Coach Prime. But who are in the trenches? They're gonna come to.
Yeah.
The only one that was spitting like that was D. Lou, and he's over at Miami Hurricanes. And guess who they did? They played them. They played a national title game last year.
Yes, they did. And look, we can say we want about Colorado State, but Colorado State had a tight end that I wanted so bad because not only could the kid catch, the kid can block. That Beard, I think his name was Beers. I don't know his last name.
You talking about the 2023 guy?
That kid was a monster. That kid was a monster.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, like dudes like that. When I look at Nebraska, the Nebraska had I don't know if he was an H-back, but oh my God, he was big. He was bulky. And he knew his job was to block and every once in a while sneak out the backfield and catch the ball, but he wanted to run your ass over. We need dudes like that. This isn't flashy Texas, flashy Florida. This is Colorado. Cam Duncan loves Colorado, right? And he has a point. We need to get dudes from Colorado because them dudes know about the weather. They know about the elements. They know about the altitude. That's who they need to get.
Man, Coach Prime ain't buying that Colorado. Coach Prime ain't trying to think about Colorado right now. He's focused on Texas, Georgia, Florida, and any place that got a sun up. He was way thinking about. But I don't understand that logic because sometimes you got to break out your logic and say, look, I need some guys that's going to drive block. Who can drive block? Can our offensive lineman drive block? And I'm sick and tired of seeing offensive line in 2-point stands. It's pissing me off. If I see another 3-point stands and drive them off the ball.
I can say no more. At the end of the day, all I care about is the D. Oh my God, that doesn't sound right. Pause. No, listen. No, wait, no. We're talking football here. I know we know the offense is going to be explosive. But as I said before, the defense is going to have to win us 3 or 4 games. Tyler Moore, Samuel Pepe, Toby Ane, Kamara, some of these other guys. Houston's got a kid named Keyshawn Henderson. We're not even talking about him. 5-star kid in Houston. Runs, throws the ball. They're saying he's the second coming of Vince Young. We got to go through guys like that in the Big 12.
Yes. Everybody has gotten better too. That's what I'm trying to tell these doggone delusional people is that they gotta understand that nobody gonna sit there and be stagnant all the time. Time has changed. The NIL changed everything. People got big accounts now. Doggone it. I mean, look, man, nobody is in EBT no more but Colorado. EBT. That's all. Colorado's still getting welfare cheese in the box.
while their coach is out, going on dates and all that stuff. We don't care about that. All I care about is what they're going to do in between the lines. I don't care about Coach Prime's dating life and stuff like that. I want to see what they do with these kids, man. I want to see what they do with these kids. I want to see what Marvin's going to do. I want to see what the defensive lineman defensive line coach who just yells the whole time. That's not going to get it done. Yelling ain't going to do anything. These kids will tune them out. They're already getting paid. They're going to end up turning Jaheim Hodis if they keep getting yelled at, because they were yelling at Jaheim Hodis. Look how you turned out.
All right, we got Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson is on the stage. Mr. Johnson, how you doing this evening,
What's
sir?
up?
How you doing? How you doing, everybody? Have a blessed day. Everyone, hope everyone's a blessed night. You know what? I love listening. I love listening to these guys. You guys make a lot of great points, but a lot of things that you guys got to realize with Colorado. A lot of those guys in Colorado didn't want to stay in state. Even you go back to Christian McCaffrey that was in Denver. Where did he go? To Stanford. Even the coach, the offensive line coach that's in Mississippi State, he went to Nebraska. So a lot of, and you understand with Matt Macheski, you know what I mean? He talks a great game, but a lot of things that we do know that is factual. He represents a lot of these guys, and a lot of these guys, you know what I mean? Is he persuading them, or is really being really enthusiastic? Say, go to Colorado, go to Colorado. We don't know that. You know what I mean? The guys that he does, because you got to understand the kind of, not a hypocrisy, but the position that he might be in. As an agent is one thing. As a person that runs camps and runs, has a business for offensive, defensive linemen, which is great. I think he's doing maybe a phenomenal job in that regard. But another thing we got to take into account, if he's an agent and a school and the NIL money, it says, okay.
Every other school does it except Colorado. I made a point about how Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, all these alumnus, that they're on the sidelines. They're talking to the players. I don't see no former Colorado players having access. Do you know that these journalists that have been in Colorado for 20 years don't have access, but Uncle Neely does, who is like, he has half his feet in, half his feet out? That's the disrespect that Matt McChesney is talking about, man. They're alienating the diehard Colorado fans like Cam Duncan, allegedly, and it sucks, man. It does.
Go ahead.
Also,
go ahead, Keith. Go ahead, Keith.
Let me cut this loose right quick. Listen, man, Matt McChesney played both sides of football.
Uncle Keith, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
If we could try to keep the profanity to a lower limit, I would really appreciate it. But I don't mind you guys tapping in. But if we can do that, that's it. That's it. Okay. Go ahead. You guys got it.
Yeah. Now, look, we got to understand, Matt McChesney played both sides of the football in NFL. He played defense and offense. He knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And I really believe that people, Coach Prime and everybody else had a problem with his delivery for his coming in and do his communication with the rest of the staff. But at the same time, though, you can't be any more, off the wall than Warren Sapp.
Yeah,
Warren Sapp was off the wall, but that's why I kind of like say, hold on, you mean tell me you couldn't hire Matt McChesney, but you brought in Warren Sapp?
Yeah, but it was recording fights.
I mean, that don't make any sense.
Yeah, but it's all about relationships. Prime has a relationship with Sapp, and also
how did that work out?
Listen, I love Warren Sapp as a player, but as a coach, he was horrible because he wasn't fully in. And as a coach, when I used to coach sports, one thing I used to always say, I cannot coach if I'm not fully committed, because how can I ask for a commitment from a player if I'm not fully committed? So in that regard, we also have to understand that with Matt McChesney, yes, he's a diehard, and I understand what you're saying about tradition and stuff. I do love for tradition, but sometimes what we got to understand is, and I'll be 66 in 2 weeks. What I do understand with my son and my grandkids, they're not the same mentality as I have or what traditional that we have, because kids nowadays, if it wasn't for YouTube and different other things, and Deion wasn't playing, they wouldn't know who Deion was.
Exactly. I agree.
Their parents know, their parents know, and their grandparents know, but they don't keep the same kind of values, the same kind of things that we did. And so a lot of things like the fight song, nowadays, if you're there for 2 and 3 years, you should learn the fight song. But kids are transferring every year. every year they're at different universities.
But
If they
wait
go
a
for
minute, wait a minute. We just praised Indiana for winning with a whole bunch of transfers, and every time I looked up, they were from the fight song, and they were the worst college football team in history.
Yeah, but he brought a lot of players
The
over
worst.
with him too. But hey, listen, the broken clock's right twice a day. So you know what I mean? Everything fell into place. Everything fell into place for him. And listen, Coach Scinetti, whatever his
Houston recruiter, he should be on the road. He
Yeah.
should be on the road.
He's a good recruiter.
Sanders,
He's a good recruiter.
they need to bring Shiloh Sanders in, and they need to be on the road. They need to be on the road recruiting.
People have to understand their position. And when they understand their position, you know what I mean, they can thrive in it. When you put somebody in a position to succeed, but they're eventually going to fail, it's not good for the overall program. And I think what they have now, what I'm seeing, because time will tell, I never seen the enthusiasm of a coaching staff as I've seen this year, and the knowledge and the expertise and the teaching of fundamentals as I never seen before.
Oh, Brian, I got to stop you there. I've seen the same stuff I saw last year, but just more yelling, The yelling, all the hooting and hollering and all that stuff is fine and dandy. But we're going to see a lot during the spring game. Me personally, I think they should run the offense they ran last year during the spring game. Don't even run the go-go offense. Don't even run the go-go offense.
It should be so vanilla that there's no flavor.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I think the main thing they got to work on tackling, man, because Dustin Wade and those kids, so many missed tackles in the backfield. Quarterbacks right there. Connor Wegman couldn't sack them. They need to work on wrapping up and finishing the play because they got the speed. They got some Porsches coming off the end. If they can get to the quarterback and sack them, put them in third down and long, pin your ears back, hey, man, we're good to go. That's what I want to see.
But what I see this year, especially from the linebacking core, the drills that they're doing, we never seen that last year. Never seen that last year. And I think, and with Coach Marve, yes, they're enthusiastic. And I agree with you. You know, when I used to coach, you got to understand which players you can stroke on the back and which players you have to put the foot in their butt. Yeah. You know, that's understanding. But there was nobody screamed any more and louder than Coach Lou. When he was coaching defensive line, he was cussing them out and stuff like that. But it's knowing your players, what they can and cannot take, especially with this generation, because some players, they take things personal, and instead of taking as a constructive criticism.
Yeah. See, this is what threw me off from last season and it's what really threw me off for the 3-9 season. Most of the D linemen was returners. They were returners going to before the season started last year. We had a lot of them, and then they brought in the IMG boys, McPherson, London Merritt, and them in along with what they had. Mm-hmm. And then because you have Otis, everybody screaming about Otis, everybody screaming about the Lightfoot and the other boy from our Texas State, Tate. And then so everybody thought that this was going to be the front seven was going to be massive and be great because we got the guys over 300 pounds, the 300-pound D tackles loaded. Full of depth of defensive ends and everything like that. But after that doggone Houston game, that injury report, that injury list was loaded. I mean, it was standing room only. Because a lot of fake injuries was out there. And they know what they did. They know what they did. And because we all need to open our eyes up to this. See, that's why I say look at the doggone schedule. The schedule going to tell the whole story. Look at the first 5 games and see how it go. If they don't win no more than 3, if they don't win no more than 2 games, the first 5 games, you're going to see more of the same that you saw last season. Hey, a lot of people going to go to the injury report and they're going to try to save themselves and for the next transfer portal. I'm telling you right now, it's all about saving. It's all about self-preservation. If the season it goes in the toilet early. If the season goes in the toilet, it's all because now everybody looking at the winnable games after the bye week. After the bye week, everybody want to look at those winnable games. They're not going to be so winnable if everybody's in the injury list. If everybody on that so-called injury list, I'm telling you right now, the first 5 games are very important.
Absolutely. But one of the things, Keith, that you mentioned that I think is last year. Well, right from the get go last year, okay, I'm not trying to act like I'm some Houdini and I've seen things, but from my experience, right away you seen there was no leadership. There was no leadership from the get go last year.
At all.
That first game against Georgia Tech was such a winnable game. Then all of a sudden, the second half, because they didn't score over on those the points that you should have put up after those three turnovers, was a change of thing. Also, you've seen that Salter wasn't the guy. Maybe was not question he wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy for that system that they had last year.
Absolutely, I agree.
You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that hurt them. So just catapulted from them. Then you know what? Then you're trying this quarter. Saab came in. You know what I mean? It's just the backup quarterback is always the most popular guy on the team. So the thing is, he came in play well, and they put Drews in. I think what was for a series or something like that. Instead of saying, "Hey, listen, man, let's just go with the freshman," they went to Stopper Houston. He looked terrible because the play call also was good. Schumer
they went with Martin Luther Staub.
well, the thing is,
the season came down to Martin Luther.
All Coach Prime has to do is sit back, be the CEO, let the offensive coordinator do his thing, which I think he will. Let the new defensive coordinator, do his thing, and just sit back and relax. You have plenty of experience this time around, college experience, where they're like, "Hey, we got to call a timeout, coach." Boom.
But the thing with Shermer that you guys, and I'm sure you guys realize, Shermer wasn't calling the offense for Shador. Shador was calling the offense for Shador.
Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah. Well, it was Shador's offense. You know what I mean?
Hey, they won't listen to me. They won't listen to me.
Yeah. So
they won't listen to me.
So when and also it's the what, one thing that I've learned in business and everything that I ever done in my life, performance dictates leadership.
Yeah.
And you know what? The best CEOs have great people underneath them or working. Don't say underneath. Working with them. I'll use the terminology. Working with them and let them run, and let them do the thing because it's great.
Hey, say no more. Say no more. Do me a favor. Do me a favor, because I don't be on YouTube, I'm not a podcaster like that. But do us all a favor, please. Do a research. Go back in Pat Shermer's time as the offensive coordinator with Brett Favre's Minnesota Vikings. When he's offensive coordinator, when they had Percy Harvin and them over there, with Brett Favre's offense, when he was offensive, and go to the times when he was the offense, when he was the head coach, and look at his offenses then. And then compare it to the Colorado, a time when he was at Colorado being offensive coordinator, and you would understand what my man just said, that wasn't his offense.
It wasn't his offense, man.
I'm telling you. See, people don't want to talk about that. Everybody want the easy way out. They won't push the easy button and make excuses. Try to throw him under the bus. I'm telling you, Shermer, he knew he was retiring. He didn't want that smoke, so he took the easy way out and went on ahead and said, "Okay, Shador, do it your way. I'm just gonna watch you do it your way, or somebody else. I don't know who, but I know one thing: that was not Shermer's offense."
Hey, and Unc, why don't I ever see Coach Prom's the best cornerback to ever live, right? Why don't I ever see him talking about zone? He's always talking about man to man. Guess how many times they got beat man to man last year?
Oh, they get beat like
100%. Coach Prime, man. They're trying to be like Coach Prime. Coach Prime is the best cover corner of all time. None of these kids will be that. That's why we're praising the fact that they're going to be running in zone so they won't be getting busted every single play.
Cam Perry, he was celebrating and dancing all the time. But when they started playing zone, they were crying.
Last year, DJ McKinney, you know what I mean?
We ain't doing
that. Like, I got to understand why DJ McKinney trashed because he was horrible. He was just straight trash. Even the year before when playing with Travis, you know what I mean? He had a lot of opportunities because they didn't throw the ball to Travis. And when Travis couldn't play a few games, and Colton Hood, which is going to be a first rounder this year, should have been the DB of last year. And the only reason why he left because they told his brother to get going. So that's why they left.
DJ McKinney also told Coach Prime, "I got this." He told Coach Prime that, "I got this." DJ McKinney,
he got burnt. He got burnt.
He's gonna tell Coach Prime, "I got this." The audacity.
And it's great to have confidence. It's great to have confidence, but we've seen him get burnt a lot in practice. He was getting smoked a lot in practice.
Omarion got a highlight reel, got a doggone, he got a mixtape because of him.
Wait, did he go to Notre Dame? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Omarion got a mixtape because of him.
Those is great points. So now I got to challenge you guys on the adjustments that were made this season. So I feel like everything you guys said, salute to you guys' opinion and how you guys felt on your perspective. But the adjustments that were made, I feel like those adjustments were made. You brought in an offensive coordinator who knows the system, is a player's coach, is younger, who's relatable. So I feel like when Coach Prime came out last season and took accountability for last season, he kind of took accountability for everything. And I feel like what we're seeing right now is the changes that like what people might have said they wanted to see or what they want to see. I think we're seeing those changes now. The talent, what we're seeing on the field, I mean, it's spring. I understand. I would like to see some more defensive linemen for sure, especially with how we seen what Chauncey Gooden do, bro. That's not a good sign.
That's not a good sign, man.
But that can happen. That can happen. You know what I mean? That things like that can happen.
But my thing is this.
What I will say is that, especially with just the hiring of Brendan Marion, I really feel like that was Coach Prime Deion Sanders already taking accountability, but saying, hey, the X's and O's, guys who are relatable, somebody who runs the offense, somebody who can control the clock, bringing that. So what are some of the things, what are some of the adjustments you did see Colorado do this season that you like?
It's having a DC that was really a DC and not a position coach in the NFL. That's one of the great things that we see. But you know what? I just have to go back to one thing. Last year was an anomaly for the simple reason what coach's health was going through. He wasn't there. And I think what happened, I think we all can agree, his coaches, there was no leadership. Nobody took the bull by the reins and said, hey, listen, we know how a coach likes to do things. And I think when the cat's away, the mice will play. And this is what happened last year. So I just think last year is just a total wash. Let's forget about last year. But every time there's a new year, there's great optimism. And one of the things about having a great optimism is seeing that the new structure that I think that's been put in place. You talk about offense. It's not a system that of somebody went to get. This is a system the guy created. You have a defensive coordinator that was a defensive coordinator. You have a guy coaching the safety that just recently retired from the NFL. You have a defensive back coach. You have Pendergrass that has 1,000 years of experience. So he's going to be helping up the defensive line, even though one kid has a title. But really, it's a group mechanism that's going to make everything stick. And the first game is going to be the telltale. And they will get more play. And they will get more players in the portal, regardless of Ezra's eligible or not.
Absolutely. And my change that I've seen is how they're handling the quarterbacks. Yeah, Juju's a 5-star quarterback. We've heard that. We don't care. Throw that out the window, right? The fact that it is an open quarterback committee type deal, I love that because Juju is looking over his shoulders. He sees Wilson. He sees Sweetwine behind him. There's rumblings of Wilson being a better player. There's rumblings of Sweetwine being his backup, okay? Right. I like the fact that Brandon Marion came out and said, I don't need a star quarterback to run this offense. He said that, and Juju heard that. Juju has social media just like everyone else. He's probably watching this right now, realizing I got Wilson behind me. Whether they're playing games with the camera, they're trying to pick everybody, I don't believe that. I think Coach Prime is like, I got to win, and I got to win now. Coach Marion knows we got to win now. Juju's like, I got to start now. And Wilson's like, I'm coming to take your job, and that's exactly what we need. We didn't have that last year. We didn't have that the year before with Shador. Now we have that, and I love that.
Great point.
What I don't, is that last year, I'm not going to too much put it all on Coach Prime as far as him being accountable. What it was is that Coach Prime, I'm going to say this, Coach Prime, Shador, that's his son, so they both got the same mindset, is that they both let the inmates run their asylum. What it was is that, think about it. Coach Prime got sick, and so therefore he trusted the people to go ahead. He trusted his friends to be friends, and they backstabbed him. He trusted his friends to have his back, and they backstabbed him. He trusted, while he was fighting for his life, man, and they backstabbed him. This man had to come, and they had a drop on him. He got too comfortable with him. He said to himself, they wouldn't dare backstab me and send me to the 5th round. And guess what happened? He let his guard down. That's what happened with Coach Prime. He let his guard down. He had too many friendly people as opposed to business-oriented mindset. You know what I'm saying? You can't let just anybody come into your house like sinners. Can't let the vampires come into your house. You can't let them in. Now you gonna catch hell getting them out.
All right.
So therefore, that's what happened with the program. And now Coach Prime is kind of playing catch up because he let the vampires in.
Well,
let me
go ahead. Say no more. Go ahead.
So for you, Mr. Keefe, so what do you like that he did, that he adjusted this season on?
It's now what he got right now. It should have been in 2023. But hey, it is what he is. It's what he know. What he got now should have happened in 2023.
Okay.
With Coach Marion, there as of a structure of his offensive coordinator, and with Coach Marve being defensive coordinator. So that should have happened back in 2023. But so what's happening now? Now is happening. Now he got the right pieces and got the right people in the right spot. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Perfect. Like Coach Shador seen perfect timing. The timing is not perfect. They waited to now when you got that doggone hardest schedule to all of a sudden now say, okay, I'm ready to pay attention now.
Yeah, but
that's great point. Great point. All right, Mr. Johnson, go ahead.
That's what I'm saying.
Great point.
Yeah, but schedules are made years ahead of time, right? So the thing is, about their schedule, you just got to have your players ready. You know what? One thing that say no more that you say. What do I think is the difference? I'll reiterate my point is that defensively, the line is small, but I think they're more athletic, and when you're more athletic, you have more opportunities because, anyways, customarily, all defensive lines are smaller than offensive lines, anyways. Because most offenses got a bunch of 300-pounders. You don't have that across the board in defensive line. You know what I mean? You might have a guy that can stuff the run and stuff like that, like with Sadozi back in the day. You know what I mean? With little Tank. He was a difference maker. Not only was he a difference maker, he was a leader. And so you needed somebody to have, and even remember last year when he called them out, he said, "You guys are a bunch of lazy." And the thing was, he was right. So this year, hopefully, we'll have somebody. And I think you have a lot of guys. And same thing with the coaches. I remember we're talking about this. It's a prove-it year for everybody. It's a prove-it year for everybody that's going to go on this year. One of the great things that I love is that they've gone to a zone instead of a man-to-man. Man-to-man, it's just like too much was saying. Man-to-man, it's like Coach Prime. That was your thing. You could say, hey, I got this guy. I can follow their top receiver from one all across anywhere he goes. I'm going. I got him. He goes to the parking lot. I'm with him. These players can't do that. They don't have that skill set. So you go with the zone. You have different schemes, different disguises, and I think Coach Marion does. I'm not Coach Marion. Coach Marve does that, and he has done that, and that's what I like about it.
The last thing I want to say no more, and I'll get out of here. Thank you for letting me have
no problem. For sure.
We brag about our linebackers. I love our linebackers. But what if one of them gets hurt? What if two of them gets hurt? We got Goldberg, who's a special teams demon. He's going to be a special teams demon this year. And we got some other dude that I don't know. They got Martinez. Yes. Well, remember, he was hurt last year. He's been injury prone. So my biggest worry is our linebackers have to stay healthy. Or we're going to have Gage Goldberg, and we're going to have some other dude that's been in Colorado for like 5 or 6 years. You got LaFau. I think LaFau's going to be coming off the edge. I think LaFau's going to be coming off the edge.
A great point. Yeah, great point. Too much. Great point. For sure.
So I just want to reiterate that. Remember, we led the NCAA, in my opinion, in dudes that had clubs on their hands last year, and we had a couple linebackers that were hurt. I'm hoping that doesn't happen this year because we have a really good linebacking corps. Don't get me started with the safeties and the corners, which is a strong point of our team. we may win some games off of those guys alone. I think we're going to have a lot of interceptions by our linebackers, and that's nothing to sneeze at. Thank you so much for the time, though, man.
But
all right, no, I appreciate your perspective too much for sure.
All right, peace, man. Peace.
Peace.
Too much Trevor. Don't forget about Salter. He's a good linebacker. He just didn't get the opportunity last year.
I agree. I agree with that. Wow. I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys' perspective. Salute already. Appreciate y'all tapping in. For sure. All right. Woo. Hold on. Man, let me drop a biz off on that. Hey. Damn, I just asked about the D line, bro. I said, what y'all think about the D line? Woo, that thing went up, didn't it? That thing went up. I ain't even gonna hold you, but there's some things that I picked up from the conversations. Listen, this show is about it's an honest call in where you give your perspective, your take. So salute to everybody's opinion and their take that called in tonight. Me personally, I'm very reasonable when it comes to the season, the power, the schedule, and everything. But the storyline, bro, I'm gonna pick back up here with what I see on the team. And salute to everybody that called in tonight, Mr. Johnson, Uncle Keith. Too much drama. They always tap in and give their perspective, and it's appreciated on the platform for sure. But I'm heavy on the changes for 2026. I'm heavy on the being where our feet is at, how we look right now, who we've gotten in the portal. We understand that this is not the easiest schedule. That part is true. It's not an easy schedule, but our offense, man, we're gonna. If you can't outscore, I have a real thing with defensively. Yeah, the defensive line is gonna. But if you can't stop us on offense, neither. If we haven't looked at us on paper, I think we're gonna score a lot of points. And I feel like, again, the defensive line, to everybody's point, there's a gentleman I talked to earlier that played in a 4-2-5 that said the front four is your foundation of a 4-2-5. They carry the 4-2-5. That allows for the linebackers to roam and the nickel to do what it's supposed to do. Absolutely. I do feel that this year that we have depth at a lot of positions. We did very good in our recruiting class for 2026. Our offense is scary on paper. I think teams are going to really have to outscore us. Let me say that first of all. I think teams are really going to have to outscore us to beat us. Now, what I'm going to say is that they can't. We know what Brent Key wants to do to start the season off. He wants to show everybody again. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real on here. I don't say no more. I ain't going to tell you what you want to know. I'm going to tell you what I feel. Brent Key wants to come out. He ain't too flashy. He wants to line up and drive the ball, drive us all the way back to Boulder with the same plays like they did. Like, it's the truth. They brought in the tight ends coach from the Baltimore Ravens, just added him to the new offensive coordinator for Georgia Tech. They got a brand new defensive coordinator that came over from, I want to say like Southern or some Missouri or somewhere, but their identity hasn't changed. For us, again, we're establishing an identity. We've been used to 4 wide receivers, Travis Hunter, heavy targets, LeJohntay, we spreaded it out, but that's done now. We seen last year, we kind of tried to resemble that. It didn't work. This year, I really feel like we have an offensive coordinator that's going to establish identity. Number one, he's going to run the ball, and that's going to open up for the RPO. So number one, it kind of takes me back to when Cam Perry's pops came on the show. Salute to Cam Perry's pops and said, teams are going to have to really score 50 to really try to beat us. I'm talking about if we take the defense off the field, right? We just take the defense off. We put our offense on the field. I really feel like we got an offense that can carry us, that can win us great. Like Too Much Drama said. He said, the go-go offense can win us 4 games, right? He said, I remember you. I don't be just saying that. I remember you said that. Too Much Drama said the go-go offense alone can win us 4 games. The defense is going to have to win us at least 3 games. Very, very true. I'm picking up where everybody's dropping there. But I just feel like this group, cornerback, safety wise, linebacker wise, we're gonna be. We got it. We're just as good. I don't see too many people that are blowing us out the water on paper, position wise. So I'm gonna say this: if we go in the Big 12, right, we line us up on paper. If we say that there's teams that are just blowing us off the water, the only group you could say, and we haven't even seen it yet, would be we don't know about the defensive line just because of what happened last season, just because it was bad. And that's okay to say it was not good. Now, if they can be, if Chris Marve and, you know, Dante Carter and these guys can get them to be I'm going to put it like this. If the defensive line is the strength of our group this season, we're good to go. If we're trying to figure that out, yeah, some teams are going to continue to do what they do. They're going to try to run the ball and keep our go-go offense off the field, right? Like, that's the plan. Run the ball, keep the go-go, keep Brendan Marion off the field and control the clock. So all great points. I think all of those were amazing points. But again, when you call in here, it's your opinion, it's your perspective. I'm going to let you, this is a call-in show. So I'm not going to tell you how to feel or what to feel. You know what I'm saying? That's your perspective, and it's respected. And on this platform, as long as we keep it respectful, and I just don't want this to ever turn into I just want us to remain respectful on the topic and remain respectful on the people that we're talking about, and we're good to go. I don't ever want this to turn into we just come here and we just talk down or talk bad about it. We can talk football, we can talk philosophies, we can talk perspective, but I don't ever want to talk about the person. So I'm not saying that was what happened tonight, but I want to keep that clear, keep that on focus. When we call in, it's philosophy, football, strategy, but anything personal opinions about anybody, it's respected, but not on this platform for sure. But appreciate to the guests that called in tonight. They was doing their thing for sure. Always good to have people's perspective. But I want to circle back to just, again, the focus of tonight is just the defensive lineman, a 3 technique, a good technique, a good 3 technique, who can command a double team, who will our front 4. Again, offensively, I'm not worried. We finna hoop. Offensively, I'm not worried if Isaac Wilson's in. Offensively, I'm not worried about if Julian Lewis is in. We did a hell of a job offensively for sure, but we all know defense wins championships are now depths. And I've seen a great Braylon Edwards, Randon Fontenette, Nathan Mitchell, Jaden Hardy. Yeah, I like our safeties. Boo Carter, I like the depth. Jaja Boy. Now, I want us to remain healthy. Is that going to be happy all season? So I really feel how we deal with injuries, how we bounce back from adversity, from any injuries we deal with this season. But again, adding another with Ezra Christensen's eligibility right now, I'm going to say I wouldn't mind adding a D lineman that's out there that's hungry, an upperclassman, a senior, somebody with 1 year of eligibility left that could come give us a Cinderella, can come give us a first team all Big 12 defensive lineman. I wouldn't mind adding one in the portal. I ain't gonna hold you. When you guys talked about them running more zone, they're gonna run more zone in this 4-2-5 scheme. They're gonna dial it up. I feel like a lot of the interceptions we've been seeing has been a lot of zone dialing up and mixing it. 1 high shell, a 2 high, rolling to 1. I think they've been mixing it up a lot. So all great points. Everybody that tapped in the chat tonight, everybody that tapped in, you guys can see it's a live call-in show. You're allowed to call in, give your perspective. Again, I'm going to end it with I like the adjustments we made going into 2026, and I feel like the accountability has already been checked off. He said, I feel like Coach Prime Deion Sanders said that was on me. I feel like a lot of the points that the callers made tonight was kind of past tense, because I feel like but some of the stuff I heard was past tense because I was looking at it in my head like, those are the things I had on my box that was checked and fixed. Now, the things that are concerns are things that are still on paper that we don't know yet. Like, the D line doesn't look good on paper. Again, it's paper, right? We don't know. What else am I going to say? Are we going to be able to stop the run? That I'm with you guys. I agree. Are we going to be able to stop the run? That is the big question heading into 2026. But if we can, we can. But even with the money that we spent, I feel like we just didn't pay cats this year. I don't think we just handed out money. I think we made a change in the recruiting coordinator. I feel like we changed a lot. Like, I don't think we just paid guys and just paid them just to bring it now. Now, I ain't going to hold you. Seeing what Chauncey Gooden did, it does not leave. But that was just a great play by Chauncey. But that was syrup, buttermilk, pancake, biscuit. It was. And it looked crazy. But those plays are going to happen, bro. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen all year, but that was just a great play by Chauncey Gooden. I don't think that defines us for the whole year. You know what I'm saying? That was just Chauncey was turned up. And he put belt on top of him, but he did. It is what it is. But it's the same thing like we've seen happening. Boo Carter done run a rep. Cam Perry done run a rep. You know it's going to happen. There's going to be good plays and back plays. I don't think we can define it right now. I think we got to let it play out. But like I said, that was the story of tonight was the D-line. Appreciate everybody being in here. Hey, everybody. Hey, a whole mic drop. Love you guys being in the chat. Just remember, you guys, we're going to keep it respectful. I appreciate rocking with everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow, bro. Let me see. Chauncey looked good, but only one play for sure. Levert Ankins facts. Cam Duncan said the schedule isn't even that bad. Mr. Johnson said this year is different because of the circumstances of last year. Let's not forget they are playing for a purpose greater than themselves. Hey, for sure, Dom. Appreciate you calling in tonight, Mr. Johnson. All great points tonight. I appreciate your perspective. Absolutely. Cam Duncan says Georgia Tech won't be the same team. They won't be as good. Yeah, if they ain't got Haynes King, they got to stop us. That's how I'm looking at it. But we understand Brent Key is a very good coach, and they just got the tight ends coach from the Baltimore Ravens as the offensive coordinator. I want to say if I'm thinking so. I think it's going to be a good matchup, way to open up the season. TMB, if it's a good one or two, Coach Prime will be the one to go get them. Yep, for sure. Again, bro, I'm here to just keep it real, just like y'all, bro. I'm not here. Our perspective is our perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I pride the channel on, just keeping it real. I'm not here to just save grace for Colorado and just say everything's going to be all right. That's not what I'm saying. I understand if our D line is our strength, it's up. If we can stop the run, we going crazy this year. Cam Duncan says George Tate won't be the same this year. Inverted zones for sure. Oh, box game 22. Brent Key lost his O-line coach NOC, so it's not going to be the same. And they lost that man Haynes King, Mr. Big Braden Belt himself. The ACC Player of the Year really beat us last season, bro. Like literally, single-handedly beat us. We had that game. He went crazy on us, bro. It was crazy because we had all season to prepare for him, and he still did what the hell he was gonna do. But that's when you went up front. That's the point to Keith. That's the point to Uncle Keith. We knew what Georgia Tech was gonna do, and they came out and up front. Once it got to that third or fourth quarter, that's when those big chunk plays started to open up. So if we can fix that this year with this 4-2, and we can dial it up, I feel like we're going to be all right. All right. Appreciate everybody being in here. Hey, it was a turned up show as always. Appreciate the callers. Appreciate your perspective. I welcome you guys back to call in and keep your perspective well. Looking for more people to call in. Hey, this is the late night radio show. You know how we do, bro. Hey, I just want everybody to call in and talk some good football. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Appreciate y'all tapping in on another live. We was on here about 2 hours and 30 minutes. Hey, always love tapping in with the fam, bro. Appreciate y'all keeping it lit in the chat. Peace, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow, bro. Great show. Appreciate y'all tapping in. I'll see y'all in the morning. Y'all be safe tonight. Don't do nothing crazy. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6:30. Say no more.